You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Eastland match of the round. Welcome to Holm Park Reserve. Beaconsfield taking on Boronia. The first time these two sides have met in a senior game. A beautiful Saturday afternoon out here at Holm Park, and looking forward to getting stuck into this contest. A Division 1 contest. We've seen one so far this season between Park Orchards and Montrose, and that game was a bit of a thriller. Both sides scoring over 100 and just 7 points separating the two teams. I'm Ryan Long, Media Manager with the EFNL, joined in pre-game by Paul Uconi and Ray Baird. Paul, I'll start with you. Great to have you on pre-game for this afternoon.
Yeah, great to be here, Ryan and Ray. And what a day it is. Today could not be any better weather-wise. And, you know, two sides who have started the year. Boronia started their time in Divi 1 off well, and Beaconsfield. You know, this is going to be a really intriguing contest.
And kick the last 2 or 3 goals of the game. And that is just testimony, I think, of their fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially coming off last week with the conditions, you know, it was a tight struggle for 3 quarters as well. But, you know, like just towards the end of the game, South Belgrave just ran out the contest.
Absolutely right. Yeah. And I think this is a really big test.
Better, that's why.
Yeah, certainly right. And I think it's a big test for both sides because obviously neither side have actually played each other. Boronia, it's a bit of a feeling out stage for them, and they've started the season really well with the 2 wins over Bayswater and Montrose. Interested to see how they'll go across the next few games. They've got some big tests. This one here at Holm Park, they've got South Belgrave in a few weeks' time. So these are the games they want to have early on in the season. It is also Pat Cronin Foundation round taking place this weekend, and you'll be able to see this afternoon the two sides will be wearing the yellow armbands in honour for Pat. And we're honoured as a league to be part of the Pat Cronin Foundation round. It's been the 2nd year running that we've been part of the obviously the foundation, and this round it's a powerful moment to honour Pat Cronin, a young man whose life was tragically cut short by a coward punch while trying to protect a friend. And Pat's story is a stark reminder of how a single act of violence can have devastating consequences. So by wearing the yellow Be Wise armband, our EFNL clubs, become part of a powerful movement to not only remember Pat, but to as well spread the vital message: be wise, end the coward punch. And if you want more information, speak to your club. This afternoon, we've got the...
Right, I already saw two T-shirts down there for the Pat Cronin Foundation, so that's great that the public are getting involved in it as well.
That's right, and we will actually be speaking to Pat Bailey at half-time from the Pat Cronin Foundation, who's here this afternoon, and I believe they've also got the Pat Cronin medal for today's game. So one of these... plays in the senior game will walk away with the Pat Cronin Foundation Best On Ground medal, as well as our Sportsco Eastland Best On Ground. It's also a big day for the country too, Ray. It's election day. Have you voted this morning, mate?
Yeah, I voted. I vote early, mate. I've got plenty of time being a pensioner. I voted last Tuesday, actually.
And Paul, you voted on Monday?
Yes.
Yes, very good. It's a big day for Australia. As a problem, I had to do it this morning and I almost forgot. I was running out of time, but I can't say no to people. So when I walk in, I take one of those pamphlets and then suddenly I've got every single party coming in and I've got 8 pamphlets that I don't want.
Well, everybody's the same. Everybody's the same.
The way you do it is when the first one hands it to you, by the time the second one goes to hand it to you, hand the one from the first one back. At the end of it, you only end up with one, but they end up totally confused.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you always vote with that last one you got in your hand, don't you, Lee? Irrespective.
Whichever one it was.
So a big day for us here and the country. Let's jump in. We've got 2 coaches coming on, Matt Clark and Mick Fogarty, this afternoon. Let's start with some of the games going around the grounds today. And one game that our very own Wayne Brasher will be out at is the Mitcham Baldwin game. The 2 Tigers in Premier Division meeting for the first time. is this potentially the first? Actually, they would have played when Mitcham were last in Premier.
No,
back in 06.
But Baldwin come in well after Mitcham.
So they've never played a senior game
I would
together.
say they've never played before.
So it's certainly a intriguing one between the two sides.
Yeah, because Mitcham were relegated in 06 and Baldwin came into the comp a year after that. And
They just missed.
Yeah.
And it'll be a big game for Baldwin, really, Ray, because starting the season 0-2, we talked about what they've been able to do over the off-season with some of their recruiting that they've brought in. And this is coming off a premiership in Premier Division. And they've started the season off a little bit flat. And you saw them live last week. And you talked about this on the podcast yesterday, that they're not scoring a whole lot. I think it was 6 goals against Roval last week. And Josh Walker, who has been pushed forward, is out of the side this week. So they're going to have to find some other goal kickers. Can't be relying on purely Charlie Haley to kick 5 or 6 this afternoon. Going to have a few avenues to goal.
No, they've got to hope, hopefully, that their midfield is capable of kicking goals, but they've got to put their hand up and start doing it. And as you say, someone's got to help Haley out down there, because it's a one-man band at the moment. So Walker, he was. I didn't see the first game that they played, but I heard he didn't do a lot in that game. But he was very disappointing for a guy that's played at a higher level. A much higher level, and I just thought he was disappointed. He's out this week, maybe injured. Maybe he was carrying an injury last week, but he needs to do better and step up for Baldwin to be a force again.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. And on the other side of the tail, Paul, you look at the Tigers of Mitcham, and 2 very, very competitive losses and honourable losses, but the fact is they're still 0-2. So if they get a sniff today, and I'm a little bit worried that potentially Baldwin might knock them off early, and this margin could blow out, and it might be one of those days where Baldwin are just eager to finally get their first win of the season. But if they can keep this close at Walker Park, they might put themselves in a really good position to cause an upset.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they've held their own. So while they haven't had a win so far, they've held their own in their first 2 games. The game against Vermont, they should have won, in my opinion, but they just kicked themselves out of it. And last week they went down by about 5 or 6 goals, I think was early on, against East Ringwood, and they got it back to a kick at the end. So as you say, the concern is if Baldwin can kick the first couple of goals. Well, Baldwin haven't been great starters either so far this season. In the first half when they played against Blackburn, Blackburn got the jump, and we've seen Mitcham in the first game, they got the jump on Vermont. The unfortunate thing is for them is they just couldn't finish their food. So this is a real danger game here for Baldwin.
Where do you still back him in as the reigning premiers?
I still back him in, but I don't back him in with a lot of confidence. I can see this was a really, really tough game to pick. I can absolutely see Mitcham causing an upset today, but I'm just going to back Baldwin. But they need to win this game, because you do not want to start 0-3, especially in Premier, because if you do, you'll be chasing tail. And we look at how close Premier was last year. The 5th place side got in with 12 wins. So if you need, 11 or 12 wins and you start 0-3, you can only afford 3 or 4 losses for the rest of the year. And that's a dangerous game to be playing. Yeah, and it almost would be unthinkable to see this Baldwin side actually start the season 0-3. I can't see them losing this game. I just feel like they have to get a win. As good as Mitcham have been in the first couple of weeks, you look at the two lists on paper, just two very different sides, and they're going to be pushing that 46 points each week, Baldwin, and we talked about that with Doncaster East. And Doncaster East, they play South Croydon today, and talking to a couple of people about this, there's potentially a bit of an upset. I don't know if you'd call it an upset, but South Croydon are a bit of a chance. Paul, you talked about the Dogs off air and their chances today. Do you back them in out at Zerby's Reserve to get their season underway? I feel they can get a win today, yes. I mean, they haven't started the year off as well. I mean, they led at half-time against East Ringwood, and unfortunately for South Croydon, it just got out of hand after half-time. They lost by 100 points, but, you know, they're a lot better last week.
The signs are
against, yeah, they are. They were a lot better last week against Blackburn. Donny East have been very good as well. They had a win in round one, which against Berwick, which is a game they probably needed to win. They did. And, you know, they weren't too bad last week against Vermont.
Yeah, I agree. Some of those outs are going to really hurt them through the midfield today. No Cass, Liam Shields out the side. Ray and Chris Jones we saw got injured last week in that game against Blackburn on Anzac Day. So some important plays in their side that aren't there. And we've talked about their depth as a little bit of an issue. Their twos, I think, were quite handily beaten by Blackburn last week, as a lot of two sides are. But I'm a little bit worried about that depth that South Croydon have, and when these sort of players come out, you just put a lot of pressure on the likes of Kilpatrick to really perform today.
Yeah, look, in this game, look, I can't see South Croydon getting anywhere near Doncaster East, to be honest with you. I think Doncaster East, they're coming off a great win last week, and I think they'll continue on with it, and I think they'll go ahead with it. And also, I don't mind Ryan hand passing over to the next man who's in a better position, but I will, going back to that last game, I will pick Baldwin, mate.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to actually ask you there. We will halt that conversation on Premier at the moment, because we got the Boronia senior coach in Matt Clark here with us. Clarkie, good to have you here. A beautiful Saturday afternoon. And is this the first time being out here at Holm Park?
Absolutely. It's a beautiful ground. Never been here before, and put in the GPS this morning and really keen. It's impressive facility, isn't it? Like the club rooms, change rooms, and the ground. It looks magic. So looking forward to today.
How have you seen the start to the season? I know it probably wasn't ideal to have the bye first up with, unfortunately, Doncaster pulling out. But how did you manage that, not having a game first up and getting the guys straight into it round two?
Yeah, it was a tough one because we always planned to play 2 practice matches. One of them got a bit changed on us, and then have that week off before round 1, which turned into 2 weeks, and then playing which was round 2, Bayswater, for our first game, and having another week off. So it wasn't ideal. This is the first time we've played 2 games in a row since March. So we're looking forward to just getting into that regular rhythm and where you train. The boys were really sore. What I found from the round 2 game against Bayswater, we just had to be really light on training during the week. The guys weren't conditioned as far as I thought they could have been. And then against Montrose last week, I think the guys were a bit fresher, felt good, and warmed into the game pretty early and played well. So I'm openly excited about the way we've started the season.
Well, particularly that Montrose game last week, who was a side who played in the finals last year, and it seemed to open them up pretty well. What did you make out of that game? Yeah,
I thought early on Montrose were able to get some stoppage clearances, and then they really build from the back. So I thought, they applied some numbers, and we were just kicking into their areas, and they were able to rebound pretty quickly. So we adjusted in the first quarter, and then we really focused on winning the contest and then moving it our way, which to the guys' credit, I thought our mids really got on top after quarter time, and then our forwards were great at locking it in. There was a lot of traffic there, but the press was fairly high, and I thought off the half back line we were able to rebound by hand and then get into a spot where it was over the top to goals, and Beggs and Robbo's both had really strong days, and I thought our ground pressure too, once the ball hit the ground, we didn't get outmarked, and it was really good. I think it turned into perceived pressure after a little while, and we were able to capitalise on that, which is really pleasing. As you said, they're a finalist from last year. We knew that going into it. So every week we're sort of coming up against a side that we don't know much about. We only watch them on tape, but tape doesn't show you where they're pressing and how they're playing. But I think there's going to be no bigger test for us in our first 3 or 4 games than what we've got today too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming up here, Matt. Good to see you again, mate. Look, going into this season, it's a slightly different thing for you yourself. As you said, some of these sides you haven't seen and all that sort of thing, and you look at the tape and of course, but coming out here, of course, to these big wide open spaces, I think that would have put a smile on your face when you looked at the width of this ground when you walked in.
It doesn't look too dissimilar to Tormore in size. And
I said that on Friday, didn't I?
Yeah, I think
very similar.
Yeah, it looks. I don't know what the dimensions are, but it looks similar width and length. And for us, we like that. That sort of helps our game style a fair bit. But I think, it's not knowing the sides and the game style. But I think what we're learning really quick is, all sides move the ball just a little bit quicker. The bodies are a little bit bigger, and having coached in this division at a previous club for quite a period of time too, I'm really mindful that I'm unique about the way we go it too. So I've got to just focus, especially for the first half of the season, on how we play and our style of football as much as anything. While we learn, I think the first 9 games we'll learn a hell of a lot about opposition, players, style, grounds, etc. And then the second half we'll be able to apply with a bit better knowledge than we had in the first half.
And getting back to your home games now at Miller Reserve there, do you have to change your game style? I've only been there for cricket and that's a long time ago. Being a smaller ground than coming out something like this, do you have to change your style of coaching week by week?
No, I think you do wherever you play, but for me it's marginally smaller. The ground was in unbelievably good condition last week. For me it's doing the warm-up in a site shed. It's all those logistics stuff. We're training at Tormore at the moment, so we're not getting that familiarisation with Millers, but that's our choice too, so we're owning it. But game day's a real clunky thing, but I often say to the players, like, it is a bit foreign for us, it is a bit awkward, but we've got to be really mindful that the volunteers are setting up and nothing's available for them. They have to go and get it. They have to set it up. They have to work overtime. They're there early in the morning. They're doing the hard work. We just get to go out and play, and they make it easy for us. So no whinging, no complaining, but we just got to go out and make it the best we can. To your question, though, Ray, it does. The length of the ground's a little bit shorter, so we've got to make sure that when we launch our footy, we're launching it from a little bit earlier space. And, we've got some dangerous forwards, we think, so we want to get it in as quick as we can sometimes and not muck around with it.
You mentioned the dangerous forwards, and you've also mentioned Josh Begley. He had kicked the bag full last week. You've got to be very careful and aware, don't you, that you just don't become Begley conscious also.
Yeah, I thought against Bayswater, we just dumped it into Robbo all the time. We didn't have Begley that day, and we looked like we were a team that played with Begley a lot, and we had that connection 30, 40 metres out for goal. It was really predictable to Bayswater, and I thought to their credit they were able to intercept a hell of a lot of marks. And we watched our tape of that game and the way we entered in, and we've adjusted that since. And I thought, for me, it wasn't just about Beggs, because Beggs played fairly deep last week. I thought it was our half forwards who were able to hit up and then turn and go from there. That's a link that we didn't have against Bayswater. So absolutely, we don't want to become Begley conscious, but we've also got 4 or 5 other dangerous forwards. I think Luke Hannon's been really good for us this year across half forward, and we've got Jake Godwin back into the side, who's a competitor. He tackles hard. We've got a really dangerous forward. Damon Fairchild comes in today, first time since he's been in America. He came back on Tuesday night, so we brought him straight back in. He looks fit. No doubt he'll blow up as the game goes on, but I think we've got goals in us. It's just about how we defend, really.
Now, the fact you're playing Beaconsfield, you've never played Beaconsfield before. Do you find that as an advantage, knowing with playing styles that, obviously you've done your research on Beaconsfield, but do you find it as an advantage that, that you get to plan out the game a bit better, that they're not so sure about? Even though they've watched you.
Paul, I'll help you out here. If there is a disadvantage, they're at the same disadvantage.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, they haven't seen us play, we haven't seen them play. So I think they're learning as much about us every week as we're learning about them. And I think that's the beauty of us. So for me, they'll focus on what they've got to do and how they play, and they'll be mindful of a couple of players like Begley and Mitch Mellis, etc. But we're mindful of a couple of their players, but we've also got to focus heavily on what we're doing. And I think as a coach, we've done that for the last couple of years, and we've just stayed on what can we control, how can we play the game out in our style, and it's worked for us. And I think the more you give this information about the opposition to the players, the less they focus on what they're doing. So I just give them 1 or 2 things about game style. The rest of it is we go out and take care of what we can do.
Just before we let you go, some of those players who have come into the side this year off the half-back line has certainly improved. You've got Wexon Church there, and you've brought in Charlie Lavender, who I think is potentially 17, or is that?
Yeah, he is. He's 17.
Still be a junior, and he's started the season quite well. So what are we going to expect from some of those players? And obviously Godwin, as you mentioned before, back into the side after, I think it was about 2018. He was part of that premiership team, and he's been in Queensland. Some of those inclusions that we're going to see today. Yeah,
I think I'll touch on the half-back line first. I think Wecker has been really good for us. He's a great ball user, and I think connected into the group really well. He's a smart footballer. He's really well educated, and he is a bit of a perfectionist. So the way he prepares, the way he goes about everything has been really good. Churchy's just a young player. Like, he's only 18 at the moment, right? So he could also play under 19 football if he wanted to. But he's a really hungry competitor, and he tackles, chases, puts a lot of pressure on. But when we get the footy, he's been able to rebound heavily off half back. He's a left footer, and we haven't had any of them for the last couple of years. Half forward, Charlie Lavender, he's got pace to burn, the kid, and there's nothing of him. He looks like he's a jockey when you see him run out there. But he's able to put a hell of a lot of forward pressure on for us, and we're big on not getting outmarked in the forward 50, so if the ball comes to the ground, he's really been able to help us capitalise. And Jake Godwin's been playing at in the quaffle up there, which is a really high standard of football, and he was a exceptional big part of our team in 2018, 19, and COVID. Obviously, he had some stuff go on, and he moved up to Queensland with work and started a bit of a career there. So he's part of our fabric, and we love Jake, and I think having him back around just gives the whole team a bit of a boost. And he's a competitor too, so half back, half forward, midfield, Jake can do it all.
Matty, I know you've been coaching for a long time. You're at One Turner South and Boronia. Do you still get excited on game day?
I just said to the guys, Ray, I actually said, we did. It's hard. I've got to change it up a little bit, right? Because this is my 8th year here talking the pre-game to the guys. And some of these guys have been here the whole time with me. But I actually said to them, I just put my hand out and I said, I've got a bit of nerves about that. I'm excited. I'm on the edge today because I think this is going up a division.
When you come to a new venue,
isn't it? And they're a good side, well coached. Got some ex-AFL, VFL players running around, and this is a test that we've been looking for a few years. So to answer your question, I love coaching, but I love coaching these guys, and I think they buzz off my energy a little bit, and I buzz off theirs. And I think today I just said to them, hey guys, how are you feeling? Because I don't know about you, but I am loving where we are right now. I would pick nowhere else to be than where we are.
And your offsider, Steve Teagle, still with you all that time?
Yeah, listen, Steve coached me back in the day, Ray, when I was playing. So we've got a really long history together, and I value his calm head. He's got a great tactical nous about him, and he looks after our midfield with Luke Hannon. And he's a quiet-spoken person. I do most of the talking, but when he talks, I listen, and I take what he says on board really seriously because I think he's got a great read of the game. He's just one of those people you want to have around your football club. He's a good human, got good moral compass, and he's been really good value for us as a football club.
Certainly right, Clarkie. I know it's a big afternoon, so we'll let you go. All the best this afternoon, and hopefully for your side a win to continue a great start of the season.
Good work. Thanks, guys. Good luck with the call.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks there to Matt Clark, the senior coach of the Boronia Football Club, and a big afternoon, obviously, for both sides, and two great coaches going head-to-head in Mick Fogarty and Matt Clark.
I love talking to Matt Clark. You can hear the excitement in his voice. As he said, he's 8 years with the same team, but he's just as excited as the first day he coached them.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and I'm very interested to see how this all plays out this afternoon. I know we're going to get to our tips a little bit later on this game, but I think there's a lot of unpredictability, and that's what I think you were sort of alluding to, Paul. Neither side have played each other, and it's a bit of a feeling out, particularly this first half. And I could honestly see either way it going 5 or 6 goals in favour of one side. I don't know how this game's going to play out, but more on that a bit later. Back to Premier Division, where we were talking about this before Mick Fogarty comes and joins us in the pre-game. We talked about the 2 games in Doncaster East, South Croydon, Mitch and Baldwin. The other 3 games, Baldwin play Noble Park, Berwick play East Ringwood, and Roval play Vermont. I'm going to go through the Oracle.
Play Noble Park?
Yeah, sorry, Blackburn play Noble Park. We'll talk about just quickly Roval versus Vermont. We had a bit of a discussion on this on the podcast yesterday, Ray, but the Hawks and the Eagles, both sides undefeated going into this contest. Roval making a few changes, but they've looked really, really strong. No shoal makers this afternoon, which will certainly test them. But in saying that, Wale Buxton went out after round 1, so a couple of the younger guys going through the ruck. Yeah,
that ruck duel, the 2 big are out. So as you said, Ryan, that evens that up, and it gives the younger second-string ruckmen a chance to prove their game today. But no, last week I was super impressive at the tack on the ball by Roval, and I think that's one thing that's going to worry Vermont, because if Roval can come out and attack the football the way they did last week, I do that again, and they're playing on their home ground down there at Seabeck, and look, whenever these 2 sides clash in the last 5 years or so, it's always been a real good blockbuster game. There hasn't really been any blowouts if you look back in the history of it, and I don't think there's going to be a blowout today. But all in all, look, at Vermont, they've won their 2 games, and you can only beat the opposition that you play, and we'll just see. We'll get a better, as we've said, Ron, but by the time we get to round 6, we'll have a better string on what sides are going to be dominant in the Premier Division.
Yeah, that's right. I think you're still in this probably for the next month or so, working out how things are going to play out. Yeah, that's right. The Oracle's predictions this week for the 5 games, and unfortunately we do have a few technical issues, so stand by with us at the moment as those are being cleared up. But the Oracle's picks this week: Berwick take on East Ringwood, and the Oracle has East Ringwood winning that game 95-73. The Oracle has Vermont to lose to Roval in a shootout, 97-95. I think the fans out at Seaback will be pretty happy if that's the result this afternoon. Blackburn and Noble Park. The Oracle has Blackburn to defeat Noble Park 82-68. Has Doncaster East to defeat South Croydon 94-52, and has Mitcham pulling off the upset of 76 to Baldwin 53. So an interesting couple of results there from the Oracle if they end up coming true. Let's turn our attention to this division. Obviously, we've got the game here at Holm Park. The other games in Division 1, South Belgrave play North Ringwood at a South Belgrave Recreation Reserve. Norwood take on Bayswater Mullum, and Mooroolbark play Park Orchards at Heights Reserve. And we are now joined by Mick Fogarty, so we're going to park that conversation for now and get Mick set up here. And it's obviously great to have another very experienced coach with us who's struggling to get their headset on as I say that. Mick, great to have you on board. Thanks for joining us today. It's obviously a big afternoon, perfect day out here at Holm Park, and we always enjoy coming out here. It's even everyone I've spoken to from Boronia so far is just very pleasantly surprised with the size of the ground and how good of a nick it is with the setup here too.
Yeah, we're very lucky. It's a great setup, and we've been blessed to have Richmond play a few VFL games here, and obviously the council got to get the ground in, and get it all nice. So yeah, we're obviously very lucky.
Absolutely, and it's a big game, and we spoke to Matt Clark just before about two very good sides who haven't played each other. Obviously, with Boronia coming up a division, how are you handling that when you play a side like this where a lot of this is going to be a bit of a learning phase for you?
Absolutely. There's only so much video you can watch. It's till you physically match them on game day and you see exactly their style of ball movement and their ability to play and play the arcs or between, whatever it may be. So, we're really looking forward to today. As you said, it's a massive game, and I do know that they've got some real quality players out there. We've got to be on our game.
Mick, I think you've got the same writer as Matty Clark, because he, word for word, he almost said what you said.
Yeah, we met before.
I know. Yeah, no, look, they are a good side. You've got to look at their history over the last couple of seasons. I know it was in the lower grade, but they've been able to keep their players. And as you said, they've got some key players in there. And one is obviously Josh Begley.
Yeah.
He kicked the bag full last week, so you've got to be able to counteract that.
Yeah.
But having seen your defence last week, I liked the way that a couple of your guys last week, Doherty in particular with his intercept marks, So he's got a job to do, but it can't be left to one man. Your whole backline's got to work together.
No, you're right. And you throw Robertson down there as well, and he's been kicking some goals. So our backline's been our strength over the last couple of years. I mean, we've got some really good experienced senior players down there in Doherty, White and Trent Stoker, and they do play their roles really, really well. So, they'll... Look, we've got a plan for that, and hopefully it works. But we'll see how those boys go on Begley and obviously Robinson.
While not giving too much away, what did you take out of last week, and what are you looking to use today?
Oh, it's more. Look, I think South I rate as one of the best teams in the comp. They have been for a number of years now. Really, they've just fallen short, obviously, finals time, but. Look, they really like an aerial game and they like a physical game. They like it in tight, and then when they get it on the outside, they give their forwards every opportunity to mark or bring to ground. And we just found that on that ground, if we need to match them in all over the ground in the physical aspect of it, and also in the air. And I thought our defenders, as you said, Ray, were outstanding last week, and we restricted their aerial game, but they just got us a bit on at contest all over the ground, and were able to hurt the scoreboard as well.
Mick, one of the things that was outstanding, and I spoke to you downstairs before about how your side ran out the first 3 quarters last week, because let's face it, 5 minutes to go in each of those quarters, you were probably 3 goals down and you were able to keep in the game. So your fitness must play a big part.
Yeah, look, we've had a really good pre-season, Ray. There's no doubt about that. We're young. They're naturally fit, but getting footy fit's another story. So we're really happy with the way that we do run games out. And red time, as you said, Ray, is really, really important. Either way, if we have to score or we have to defend, and we've got a lot better at that. But yeah, I'm happy with our boys' fitness at this level, at this stage.
And I'll ask you the same question as I asked Matty. You've both been coaching for a long, long time. You still get the excited and have the enjoyment?
Absolutely, Ray. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. It's that nervous. It's a real hard thing to explain and it's a, you know, you're anxious, you're excited, everything into one, and then come sitting in the box there and trying to get some sort of advantage and match up or whatever it may be. It's just, yeah, I love it, mate. Love it.
And because the other boys here on the media didn't seen you this year, who is a standout couple of players that these boys need to keep a watch out for?
Yeah. Look, we're lucky that we've able to get our new ruckman, Trav Stewart. He's been in terrific form the last couple of weeks. He forced Garner out of the centre square last week, and they had to put Tucker in there at centre square bounce. So he's been really prominent for us, and we've been really pleased with his performance. Our old guys, like, when I say old, Damo Johnson in the middle, co-captain, he's been great. Whitey's another one, Brandon White across half-back. So yeah, they're the players.
And Stoko's playing his 100th
game today. Tyler.
Yeah, and he's been obviously a really important part of the club. I think he's here since under 9s.
Yes.
And what's he like? Just not obviously on the field as well, but off the field and the value he gives to the club.
He's just a terrific young man, and he's just beaky through and through. He's got the respect of everybody at the club. He trains really hard, and through that, he's got that instant respect anyway. And off the field, he's always smiling. He challenges you as a coach, which is awesome, because you need that. And I couldn't speak highly enough of what he's brought to our footy club. You'll see number 1. Even at our level, and look, we got him 2 nights a week, and we haven't got him a lot, and he's realistic that it's local footy, and you know, the basics that he brings to our group, and they all listen to him, especially around stoppage and just advantages that we might be able to get there through his knowledge of the game and their technical things like blocking and so forth. But yeah, and I'm a Richmond fan too, and just to get him back, and look, he's had a bit of an interrupted pre-season with his back, but look, I thought he was pretty good last week, and look, he'll get a hard tag, and he gets, obviously, like the best players do in all divisions, and what the best players do, they work through it, and that's why they're the best players. So I couldn't speak highly enough of him as well.
Fantastic, Mick. We'll let you go. It's obviously a busy afternoon. We're looking forward to seeing how the Eagles go today, and hopefully for your sake, another win.
I hope so. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Mick Fogarty there, the Beaconsfield senior coach, who continues to do a great job at the club, and it's going to be a very interesting game this afternoon to see how the two sides match up for the first time, and I believe potentially we might go to an ad break in just a moment now, so stay tuned. It is Pat Cronin Foundation round, and it is Beaconsfield and Boronia in the Eastland match of the round.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a moment.
Emergency 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank?
Emergency 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Hi, Dylan Dow from the Boronia Football Netball Club here. When I need to grab a quick coffee or a bite to eat, I'm popping into Eastland. Eastland's more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been a major partner of the EFNL since 2018. Cheers, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to the Eastland match of the round. Holm Park Reserve. It is Beaconsfield taking on Boronia, currently in the development squad game between the two sides. Beaconsfield lead 5-5-35 to Boronia, 3 behind. We're speaking to both senior coaches, been able to get a lot out of both Mick and Matt, and great to have them on board. Two of the best coaches, Ray.
They are. Look, they give you everything. You know, they get excited about their football, as we said to them. They've both been coaching for a long time, and they still get excited about the games, and they'll answer any question you give them.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's what we love. And having a look at the Division 1 Oracle tips, on this contest, the Oracle, who sends them in anonymously every week to me, the Oracle has Boronia defeating Beaconsfield by 22 points, 95-73. We'll see how accurate that is this afternoon. The Oracle also has South Belgrave to beat North Ringwood in a shootout, 108-104. Norwood and Bayswater play another thriller, and Bayswater to win that game by 4 points, 59-55.
That's a close one.
Just want to make a point. They've been really impressive this year. North Ringwood. Last couple of years they've kind of been down the bottom half of the ladder, but they've had some good wins too. I think they beat Beaconsfield.
They came close to Beaconsfield. They just
last
year or
this year.
Yeah, they came close to them, but they were in that game for 3 and a bit quarters, and we know how good of a side Beaconsfield is. So I think you're right. I think they're potentially they're the 5th side in this final series if it all plays out the way we think it might. And the Oracle also does have Park Orchards to beat Moolbach 116-84. Let's jump into Division 2 and talk about some of these games here. We've talked about how much of a nightmare this is to tip Division 2, and there were that many upsets last week. There's a lot of...
I'll interrupt. You have had trouble picking Division 2.
How many have you tipped right? You've tipped right, have you?
No, more than you, that's all.
Maybe more than me, but it is hard to tip, and the Oracle has actually tipped East Burwood to defeat Heathmont today. That game played out at H.E. Parker.
Sorry, right?
As you alluded to, there's a big inclusion in that Heathmont side today.
That's right. Chris Anarkis into the side for his first game with the Jets.
Yes.
Without Doncaster playing this year.
And Heathmont have been a bit inconsistent to start the year. I saw them last week against Ringwood, and they didn't really handle the conditions as well as Ringwood obviously did. But they lost round 1 against Tempe, and then they beat Croydon. But they just want to get that, a lot of people tipped them to win the flag this year, and for good reason, but they need to get that inconsistency under control.
For the list they have, So if they lose that game, today's game, and move to 1 and 3, that's a disaster to start the season, because they should be a final side and they should be a contending side. Just with the players they've got on that list, they've brought back some of those guys, like a Harry Isaacs, who I think was in South Australia last year, potentially. He was away. They've been able to bring in Jed Hansen, of course, back from Blackburn. They've got Appleby from Doncaster East, now Anarchis. I'm not sure how Anarchis will go, obviously getting a little bit older now, and time catches up to everyone, but he's going to be handy to have.
A great player, won comp medals in the highest division and all that, and he's coached, Doncaster right up to this season. But so he won't be the Chris Anarchis running around the midfield like people like me and you. But he's got one thing you're going to have to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if he bobs up and kicks 3+ goals for the game.
No, I wouldn't either. I think that's one to keep an eye on. Ringwood play Wanturna South out at Jubilee Park. Paul, what do you think about this one? As you're saying, you saw Heathmont Ringwood last Friday. Obviously Ringwood getting the job done, their first win of the season. Did they play well? And obviously with the conditions, it was a Friday night game. It was at Anzac Day, which was quite wet. But it's going to be a very different day today. Dry conditions on a Wanturna South side who can score very well. How do you make of it?
Yeah, no, they played really well last week. And for a long time, Ringwood have enjoyed playing in the wet. But this is going to be a really, really intriguing contest, this one. Ringwood getting that first win under the belt last week. And Wani South, they've had the two wins so far. If Wani South can get some wins away from home as well, that's what's really intriguing out today. Big ground out at Jubilee, and Wani South have been scoring heavily this year. They had a big win last week against Templestowe. Yeah,
well, that's right, and Templestowe this afternoon. They're back at home this week. They play Lilydale, and Lilydale were another side that had I guess you could say it's an upset looking at the form line of the two sides between Lilydale and Waverley Blues last year. But this year, I just think potentially Lilydale might be even a better side, and particularly at home at the LSO. This is their challenge now, picking off a good side on the road. They came up against Mulgrave a couple of weeks ago, Ray, and were well beaten. This is a massive test because Templestowe still pretty much at full strength.
Yeah, a big plus for Lilydale this season on what they put out last season. Okay, they've had 2 wins, they've both been at home, but as you just said, Ryan, they've got to start winning away games, and I think this is a chance for them, but I'm just going to pick Wanturna South. I do think that they've started the season better than anyone down at Wanturna South would have expected.
Yeah,
I've gone Wani South as well.
Yep, and then the Templestowe to beat Lilydale.
Yeah, Templestowe to beat Lilydale.
So those games today, I'm sure there's going to be at least 1 or 2 upsets in this division. Mulgrave plays Surrey Park at Mulgrave Reserve. The Lions the only undefeated side in the division. Surrey Park had a really disappointing week last week on the field against Croydon, where they struggled to score. I think they kicked the 4 goals to the game. But potentially, Paul, I mean, you look at obviously coming into a new division, that was going to happen. Yeah. It was bound to happen to them eventually. So I'm not too concerned about it. They were going to have an off game. They probably strung together. They haven't had a loss like that for quite a while.
No, and I mean, yeah, as you said, right. I mean, the first 2 weeks they kicked some big scores. I think wet condition, not invalidating Croydon's effort last week. Croydon were very, very good last week. But you have those games that do happen, and it's probably it's better off that it happens now than say later in the year, because you don't want to peak too early, and that's this is going to be a big test for it's going to be a good test for Surrey Park, and also a test for Mulgrave.
Yeah, look, Surrey Park, they remind me of the climb up the ladder that Roval had. They won Division 4, they go up, they won Division 3, but they go up to Division 2, a higher division. And I think it took Roval 5 years to win a premiership once they went up to it. And I think it's going to be the same for Surrey Park. I think they're going to be, they'll end up, in my opinion, middle of the road, maybe just outside the 5 this season. And then they've got every chance to build on that in the years to come. But I don't think they're going to jump up there and be a real contender this season.
Because Division 2, like, we look at the landscape of the divisions, like Div 2 is probably the hardest to predict out of all the divisions. That and Division 1, so...
Well, the higher you go up the divisions, Paul, the harder the gap is there in the ability of the players. Yeah.
For me, we probably didn't really talk about it much, but Jake Summers not playing this season. He's hung up the boots.
Yeah.
Such an important play up forward for him in Division 3. I know he's getting older.
Down there.
Yeah. So you take that out, and that potentially, provides a few more challenges. They've been able to pick up quite well from Blackburn, and one of those players, Sam Hart, who started particularly well for the start of the season. But we're going to learn a lot about Surrey Park over the next 4 to 5 weeks, because they play some really good sides, including Mulgrave. I know how we were talking about Angus Gervasoni yesterday not playing. He's now on the team list, so I don't know if he was a late inclusion or if...
Playing games, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know, unless I just misread it and just couldn't see him there. But he is playing. He is listed. He's averaging 41 disposals in 3 games. Been best on in probably all 3. Had 46 last week in their win.
If he does get out there on the park, that's one player that's Surrey Park. They can't afford him to have anywhere near 40%.
This is the Premier Data game that you'll be looking forward to on a Monday, because you've got Gervasoni, Tilliard on one side, and then for Surrey Park you've got Jack Mann and Kane Hendon, who love a big day out and are usually averaging 30 disposals per game. So looking forward to seeing who finishes up with the most touches on the ground.
Yeah. I'm picking Mulgrave. I picked them on Friday. I'm going to stick with it.
I'm sticking with Mulgrave. Paul, you're sticking with the Lions to make that 4 in a row?
Yes.
Big year for them. It is their centenary year that we'll hopefully be out there next week for their game against the Waverley Blues. A big celebration for them, but more on that next week. To defeat Surrey Park by 17 points, 87-70. The Oracle has also predicted Wantirna South to beat Ringwood, Templestowe to defeat Lilydale by 9 points, and then Waverley Blues and Croydon, which we haven't touched on just yet. The Oracle has Croydon defeating Waverley Blues 59-56, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the exact result at 5 p.m. I don't know how this game's going to play. Both sides have been inconsistent, Ray. Croydon were really good last week, but I'm not sold on them after one performance. We've got to see this again, because they really struggled to score in those first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm not sold on them either. And I just think this is more of a crunch game for Waverley Blues. Have to win this game. They can't afford to lose another game.
At home too, at Central.
They've got to win their games at home. But I think they will. I think they will get over Croydon. Take nothing away from Croydon last week. But as you said, the earlier couple of games that they played, they just couldn't score.
You're right, and it's not a completely different side. I'm just going through and having a look now. There's a lot of familiar names on the side. Cole Vickers is playing full time with the Waverley Blues this year, and that was a big bonus for them to have. And he was really good in that first week when he kicked 6 against East Burwood. But they probably had a pretty disappointing start to the season, Paul. And the loser of this game will move to 1 and 3. You talked about this in Premier Division to start the season so poorly. It's going to make it very difficult for the loser of this game to play finals this year. They've got a lot of work ahead of them, whoever drops this.
Yeah, and as I said before, because if you're going to get 11 or 12 wins to get into the finals, as far as top 3 is concerned, you probably need about 12 wins to get top 3.
The double chance.
Yes, the double chance. And you just don't want to be losing early games and then just chasing percentage. Mind you, in Division 1 last year, Mitcham started the year 1 and 3 and won the flag. But then again, you can't always rely on starting 1 and 3 or 0 and 3 early on the year and just coming back, because you need to win these early games.
We saw it with Heathmont last year. Very slow out of the gate.
And I look at Waverley Blues last year. They started off the season pretty well last year. But then towards the end of the season, I think they lost 5 or so in a row, and that's what cost them in the final. So let's hope that they've started off slowly this year. Let's hope that they can string a lot of wins together and get back in the mix.
And let's remember also, these two sides played off in the finals last year in that famous
big comeback from Croydon.
Yeah, the 7 minutes of just chaos for the Waverley Blues. Still not sure how they dropped that one, and they're 0-4 in the final series in Division 2 over the last 2 years.
And not just the semi-final, but also the qualifying final where they were up by 39 points against Mulgrave, and they should have won that game, but they just kicked themselves out of it.
Yeah, very interesting. Obviously, the loser of this game now will face a bit of a hill to climb. Let's move into Division 3 this afternoon's game. The big one out at Scoresby Rec Reserve. Scoresby taking on Knox. Both sides undefeated after 4 weeks. And Scoresby, I mean, we expected that from Knox, Ray. But for Scoresby, we were a little bit unsure of how they're going to go in a new division. And they've had a couple of tests. One of them last week against Oakley. I know Oakley have had a terrible start to the season, but particularly after not scoring the first quarter, giving away a few goals, and then just going bang and blowing that game open in the second term. Big win there. They knocked off Ferntree Gully in a big opening game, a twilight game. So at the moment, they're ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, they're doing everything they have to do, Scoresby, but I think they come up against one of the top liners in this division. Knox have been the top side in this division over the last 3 years or so, and I think that Knox. I'm selecting Knox, and as I said on Friday, I think this is going to be a real shootout. I predicted 20 goals each. That might be a little bit too much, but I think it's going to be a huge shootout.
Both sides can score, Paul, and we've seen that over the recent few weeks. Knox, I think they kicked the 18 goals. Scoresby I think they're averaging over, and probably averaging over 100 or close to it after a big result against Fair Park in round 2. If Scoresby win this, it's another box that they're able to tick.
Yeah, absolutely, and to start 4-0, they'll give themselves a real platform to build on to get themselves, into the best possible position, getting the double chance and even getting the bye in the first week. But this was a really hard game to pick, this one, because, we know how good Knox are, and they're one of this is a really intriguing game. I've just gone for the when in doubt, just go the home team. I've gone Scoresby on this occasion, but I wouldn't be surprised if Knox got up, but I'm going Scoresby.
I'm with you on that. I've still tipped Knox, but I do like the theory of the home side when it is a 50-50 game. I'm almost willing to change my tip, but it's in the AFNL record at the moment, so I can't do it. So I'm going to have to stick with Knox. Coldstream play Oakley District. Both sides desperate for a win this afternoon. And look, I've actually tipped Oakley. I can't remember who you tipped, Ray.
I picked Oakley too.
And a lot of people, I think, have unsure on Coldstream with the way they've started the season. They have got a win, but that was against Fair Park, who Fair Park are in a lot of trouble at the moment. But Oakley, for a side that played finals last year, recruited somewhat well, really disappointing start 0-3. And it's been a difficult start to the year in terms of who they're playing against, but they've got to be very disappointed, and this is now a must-win game.
Well, man, it's only early in the season, and they played finals actually in the last 2 seasons. But, look, they've got to resurrect their season and try and get some wins away. And win most of your home games, and you can be back in the mix. And I think they'll have the wood over Coldstream today, because as you said, Ryan, what Coldstream have dished up in the first few rounds is not good enough, and they've got to improve. They would know that, and they would come out firing on all cylinders today. But I just think that Blake Pearson seems to be getting a little bit more support now from his teammates, and I think Oakley will win this.
Yeah, I'm tipping Oakley. Paul, what's your thoughts on this one? Carrigan's been phenomenal for him in the early stage of the season, which is what we expect, but not getting enough help
for Coldstream. We've just they've two sides that we expect would be in that final. I know it's early in the year, but to be in that finals mix. Coldstream a couple of weeks ago, they lost to the Basin. The Basin been really good so far, but at the time there was a big shock as well. And a disappointing performance against Donvale last week. I think I've gone Coldstream, not with a lot of confidence. So, I can definitely see Oakley getting up with the wood they have on Coldstream. But this is a really intriguing game. This is a really important game for both sides, because one side's 1-2 and the other's 0-3. Probably more important for Oakley District, but it's still a big game, big important game nonetheless.
Yeah, 100%. And when you look at this Division 3 ladder, you're obviously starting to see a bit of separation between the top 3 and the rest of the comp. Scoresby, Donvale, Knox have all been undefeated, and I think you've got particularly with Donvale and Knox, as we saw them last year, and obviously saw them in this division. You've got a lot. You're you can rely on them. You probably know what you're going to get from them every week. Scoresby is starting to form themselves into that same box. We'll see a bit more from them today and work out if they really are a top contender in this division. But after that, it is wide open for those 4th and 5th spots. At the moment, the ladder reads Sylvan in 4th, the Basin in 5th. They both won 2 games each. Sylvan have played the extra game. And then Upper Gully, Ferntree Gully, Coldstream all with the win. Oakley and Fair Park yet to get a win.
Look, I can't see those top 3 changing all
No,
year.
neither can I.
And I can see Ferntree Gully maybe improving and getting up and getting into that 4th spot.
But I think whoever finished 4th or 5th could have a losing record and have lost more.
And that's what
one.
Oakley District had last year. I think they had 8 wins.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit concerned about this division on how that's all going to play out. But in saying that, the Basin, who are 2 in a row, and we talked about them on EFNL Insight this week, got to be really impressed with what they're doing. And they go to Kings Park today to face Upper Ferntree Gully. And I've tipped the Bears. I think they can make this 3 in a row.
I've tipped them too. Winning Storms is good for them.
Absolutely. That would move them to 3-1 if they do win this game.
Yeah.
And that is...
And they've come a long way since the start of last season where they didn't win a game at all,
0-18 last year.
Yeah.
Lose round 1 against Donvale, which was a tough ask to obviously play against in this new division. But I mean, it's all there for them. And we saw last year the double drop between Knox and Upper Ferntree Gully coming into the competition in Division 3. Knox played off in a final series, and Upper Gully were knocking on the door for finals pretty much all throughout. So potentially that drop from 2 to 3 is a little bit more significant than we thought. Yep. And even those sides who, like the Basin, have struggled in Div 2 and haven't really recruited too much this year, have seemed to have eased into this division nicely.
Look, the Basin, they've struggled, but they changed their coach and everything. Nothing against the coach who was there, but all that. But Joel Perry's obviously got them on the right track at the moment because they've started winning games. So when you change mid-season, they change their coach, and that doesn't help your stability for the season. But
no, it's never
as I said,
ideal.
they've come a long way since the start of last year.
Absolutely. Donvale play Ferntree Gully. Any hope for Ferntree Gully this afternoon? They were very competitive against Knox at 3 quarters. Last quarter, Knox kicked 8 goals on them to 2, and they blew that one out. Going to probably have to get a bit more out of their bottom 5 or 6 players that are playing today. We know what you're going to expect from the top liners, but bit of work for them to do against the Donvale side who are coming off just yet another impressive win. James Rouser was best on and was dominant. For me, Donvale at home are...
I'm picking Donvale, and their strength is their forward line. And if they can, and they usually do, get the ball forward or centre, they usually score. And they've got such a good forward line down there, and playing at home also, I think Donvale will win this.
Yeah, I think the challenge for Ferntree Gully is to stay in the game against Donvale and give themselves a chance. But I'm going to go Donvale. Donvale, after losing last year, they want to redeem themselves and go up to Division 2. I mean, still early in the year, but they're going along nicely. So I'm going Donvale. Are
they the most reliable side in the entire competition, Donvale? I feel like I've got the most confidence in
I don't know.
them.
Boronia would be up there matching them. If you go back over the last 2 seasons,
yeah, true. Last year,
have
definitely
been equal, I would say.
Yeah, I just really like what Donvale have been able to do, and to be able to sustain it for so long.
I seem to have confidence in Mulgrave. I feel like I've got a bit of confidence about them as well.
Yep, yeah, they've earned a bit more trust this year.
But Mulgrave only started building halfway through last season. Early last season they were struggling, and then they started to build it.
Well, even against Boronia, they lost by 100 points early. I know Boronia were doing that to a lot of sides, but for a side that played off in a prelim against
Donvale have been winning a lot of games in the last 3 or 4 years, and that's why they've got the most trustworthy side. And
Judgment Day for Donvale will come final series again, similar to Churnside Park.
They should have won the grand final last year because they led for
better
most
side,
of that game.
I think, on the day. In the season, they beat Surrey Park 3 times during the year and just fell away late. And I think credit to them, they've been able to keep the list and perform so well. Before we move on to our final break, Division 4 results or games coming up today. Bulleen Templestowe play Kilsyth. Forest Hill take on Warrandyte, and Churnside Park versus Whitehorse. Churnside Park Whitehorse, we had a bit of a thought on that one. The Oracle has that as a bit of a shootout, and Churnside Park winning 120 to 104. I'm tipping Churnside purely because it's at home.
Well, I picked Pioneers yesterday, and I'm sticking with Pioneers.
I've gone Churnside Park for the same reason. It's
50-50. Kimberley
It's
Reserve, yep. I like it.
But they usually are very good at home. So.
Yeah, they do not lose many games there. Bulleen Templestowe versus Kilsyth. Now, this is actually a twilight game I saw yesterday. And the Oracle has Bulleen Temp winning by a point, 68-67. It's good. Another 50-50 game. And again, for that same reason, I'm going to tip the Bulleens.
Yeah, it's 4:45 start. Yeah. I think though. Look, when you go to a new ground, there's Matty Clark's. He's never been out here. Well, I think Kilsyth had never been down to Bulleen Templestowe.
Not to the Taj.
And that is a ground that you get there and you think, gee, it's long and it's wide and big. It's be the biggest, obviously. I think the ground in Division 4 without a doubt. And against Warrandyte in that first game, we can say Warrandyte should have won that game, but also they didn't. But Tempe were pretty good in that first game in our competition.
They certainly were, and again, you look at the two Sticker brothers, or there's three of them, but particularly Josh and Jake, the experience that they've had from Baldwin, God, it makes a difference when you go down to a new division like this.
I'm picking Bulleen Tempe to win this.
Yeah, I've gone for the Bulleens, Paul.
I've gone Kilsyth, only just. I mean, Bulleen Templestowe have been, they've started off. They started off well in the first game. I think they lost 2 weeks ago against Churnside Park, out at Churnside Park, which is, again, a place where not many sides win many games. But I feel like I can see Bulleen getting up, but I've gone Kilsyth.
Very interesting this afternoon, and obviously Forest Hill Warrandyte is also played at Coonung Reserve today. We're going to go to an ad break here before we bring in the call team. We've got Chris Cordis waiting to go, Kate Green, who's come from the women's as well. A big afternoon ahead out at Holm Park Reserve. It is the Eastland match of the round between Beaconsfield and Boronia.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. Let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 match of the day coverage.
Welcome back to Holm Park Reserve. Beaconsfield taking on Boronia, this Division 1 blockbuster. in the Pat Cronin Foundation round. A beautiful sunny afternoon out here at Holm Park. Great to be back here at what is a fantastic ground, fantastic facilities. They always look after us here at Beaconsfield. I'm Ryan Long, joined this afternoon by Chris Cordes, who's done already a bit of work this morning out at Boronia Reserve, and a bit of travel from you to get out here from Park Orchards. How long did it take you?
I think we're at about 45 minutes, but I've never been here before. To get to a facility like this and a location like this is probably well worth a 45-minute drive, so I'll do it more than happily.
Yeah, certainly right. It's great to have you on board this afternoon and calling both games, doing a great work with the EFNL. Paul Uconi in the Stats Centre, not the Stats Centre, so you're in specials today. A big job for you this afternoon. Looking forward to seeing two good sides and how they fare in Division 1.
Yeah, absolutely, and it should be a great contest, it's a fantastic, point out for it's a fantastic day for football. I think it's meant to be about 20, 21 degrees, so yeah, it's a beautiful day for it, and not much breeze around too.
Yeah, definitely right. Ray Baird also joining us in the special comments chair today. Ray, great to have you on board.
Yeah, I love coming down here to Beakley. Mine's only a 15 and 20 minute drive.
Yeah, you would come here every week if you had the choice.
Oh no, I've got to go to South Belgrade.
Yeah, I know you love that, don't you? Yeah, very good to have you. And two fantastic sides that we get to watch today.
This game's going to be a ripper of a game. Neither side's going to give an inch, and I think that we're going to see the ball, particularly in the first quarter, move very quickly from end to end.
Absolutely, and the reserves game right now playing out here, it is approaching full time, and Beaconsfield leading 9-8-62 to Boronia 3-3-21. That game pretty much all done. It is Pat Cronin Foundation round as well, so if you've just joined us, the EFNL is taking part of the round again for the second year in a row. The round is obviously a moment to honour Pat Cronin, a young man whose life was tragically cut short by a coward punch while trying to protect a friend. Pat's story is a stark reminder of how a single act of violence can have devastating consequences. So you'll be able to see this afternoon the two sides will be running out with the yellow armbands on their arms, and obviously by wearing the yellow B-Wise armband, our clubs are getting involved with the powerful movement. Not only remembering Pat, but also spreading the vital message of B-Wise and the coward punch, and it does certainly serve as a visible reminder of our responsibility to stand against senseless violence. If you want to learn more, you can check out the EFNL website, the EFNL socials, or speak to your clubs this afternoon. But a massive game today, and also on top of that, we will have a Best On Ground medal. The Pat Cronin Foundation have been certainly been able to award today, which is fantastic to see, as well as the Sportsco Eastland Best On Ground voucher.
Can I ask the question?
Yep.
Do we pick both of those, or is someone picking one of them? Or
we will pick the Sportsco Eastland Best On Ground voucher, and I'm not sure about the Pat Cronin medal.
Because I was just wondering if we were picking both, there had to be a different criteria, for each one.
Well, it depends. You could give it to. If Josh Begley comes out and kicks 8 today, he probably gets both. I would say.
I just wondered, they might have had. I don't know. They might have just had a different set up for the Pat Cronin.
Well, there is a couple of representatives here from Pat Cronin, and hopefully we'll be able to hear from one potentially at half-time in Pat Bailey. We will probably find out then if we're actually voting on it or not, or if they're going to award the medal themselves. And we've also got Kate Green, who we'll hear from soon, who's going to be jumping down on the boundary this afternoon. A big job ahead, and she's been busy again with the women's, doing a fantastic job, and a lot of hard work from her. Let's turn our attention to this game. Obviously, first time we've been able to see these two sides of the season, Chris, and first time they've been able to see each other. They've never played against each other, and a chance for both sides to just get a bit of a feel of what or how they match up.
No, that's exactly right, and I'm really interested to see how Boronia fare today. Obviously, new division. Round one, obviously they had the bye round one, so their first match round two, I think they just held on against, I think it was Bayswater. And then really got on top of Montrose last week. So I'm still kind of interested to get a feel of where they are in this new division, obviously coming in 2-0. But I mean, like you said, first time these two teams have met, anything can happen. I'm pretty sure Beaconsfield come in at 1-1. So it's going to be a very interesting day of footy. I mean, looking at the team sheets as I was looking them over last night, there's a lot of star power in a lot of different areas this ground. So I'm interested to see who's going to really take take control, not just of the game, but take control in the big moments where momentum's up for grabs.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's a fascinating contest, and there are, as you said, big names across both sides. Paul, having a look at, obviously that was the final siren in the reserves game. Beaconsfield 9-9-63 defeating Boronia 3-3-21. So a handy 42-point win, and that comes off a under-19s win for Beaconsfield as well. So they've had a great afternoon so far. Potentially might be able to continue that with the senior game. Looking at the two sides, and we spoke to both coaches beforehand, and Boronia have made a few changes this year, and some of those players we talked about coming into the side. Charlie Lavender up forward, the youngster. Obviously some players down back in Wex and Church we get to see for the first time in Boronia colours coming from other clubs. Jake Goblin back from Queensland. So a lot of changes for them this year, but so far it seems to have worked out pretty well. I think they've strengthened themselves, and they had to do that as well coming up a Division 2.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what you want as as a club. To get your new blokes in and strengthen your club, and also, they've started off the season really well with 2 great wins. They had a close one against Bayswater over at Bayswater Oval, and they had a big win last week against Montrose. So they're just going along nicely at the moment.
They certainly are, and we talked about this, Ray. We've talked about it a lot, but it is important. The buys are going to play a factor. Beaconsfield haven't been able to really string together much footy because of having the bye in round 2 and then followed that by the Easter weekend or something along those lines. Similar to Boronia, they had the first week off. So I think this is the first time for both sides that they've actually been able to string together two games in consecutive weeks.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I just think on this game today, I think we're going to see 2 different styles of play between each of these 2 teams, because Boronia, just from where Matty Clark talking and the way Boronia played their football last week, they're more inclined to kick the ball high down to the tall forward, down there where you got Harry Burgess and you got Begley.
Yeah.
Whereas I saw last week,
with
Beaky, they were playing South Belgrave, and they were more inclined to chip the ball around and try and run the ball into their forward line, because South Belgrave were going to outmark them if they kicked it down long. And I think we'll see very similar today.
Yeah, that's right. And just having a look now, if you're watching on the screen at the moment, it does look like the Pat Cronin Foundation are doing the awards. They've got 2 medals for the 2 players in the reserves game. Great to see that. And that's going to probably be the same format for the
boundary.
Yes, we've got Kate Green, who's actually going to be on the boundary today, and was down at ground level for that. Kate?
Number 19 for Beaconsfield and number 28 for Boronia. Both players were awarded the Pat Cronin Foundation medal for today.
Thanks very much, Kate. That's Lockie Watson for the Hawks and Jamie Roberts for Beaconsfield. Both best on for their respective sides and walk away with the Pat Cronin Foundation medal. And so that's how it's going to work, Ray. They're going to pick it out, and they're going to pick one from each side.
That's right.
And then we'll pick our Sportsco Eastland best on ground. Beaconsfield are out on the field at the moment. Boronia, the senior side, about to come out. We're going to get to tips in just a moment, and actually we'll do it now because we've still got a bit of time. Ray, starting with you, and we've got to hold ourselves accountable now because we've got the AFNL record and they're published inside the record, and Chris usually likes to go and pick one for the record, one on the broadcast. Who have you tipped this week?
I'm sticking with what I put in the record and what I put. Yes, I'm picking Boronia, mainly because I just think that they're basically stuck with their same side as what they've had with a couple of introductions. Well, you could say the same for Beaky, but I saw Beaky last week, and they in completely different conditions than what we got today. And the word I got out of South Belgrave after that game was that South Belgrave players passed on that if that game was played in dry conditions, Beaky would be a much better side. So look, I'm picking Boronia just on their past performances.
Paul, your thoughts on this one? Who are you tipping?
I think in the record I went Boronia. I'm going to go Boronia. I think by about 2 or 3 goals. I reckon it'll be a high scoring contest there. I can see a high scoring contest.
It is quite warm and perfect conditions. The ground is in fantastic nick, as you can see on the screen right now if you're watching on EFNL YouTube or our Facebook page. Also a bit of a welcome to our listeners tuning in on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM, the home of local football. Chris, I know where you tipped in the record. So don't try and change it on me. You're going the Hawks today.
Yeah, you're going to keep me honest, so fair enough. Yeah, I tip Boronia. I think it's going to be a great match ahead of us, but I feel like a lot of times the underdogs, not so much the underdogs, but the people that we're not tipping are really coming out and playing some good footy. So I'm going to go Boronia by a single point.
Oh, a single point here. That's a close one. You spoke about people watching this. We must send a cheer out to one particular person who lives in Hobart now, BWS. I know he'll be listening to our broadcast out there and pointing out all the little things we do wrong on air and messaging us during the week. But good to have you on board, BWS.
Streaming live from Hobart. We've also got some viewers out from the United States of America today, Ray.
Yes,
some from watching in from Dallas,
okay.
I believe. So welcome to them, to our US audience this afternoon. Big game ahead. Welcome to AFL rules. I don't know how much AFL they've watched over there, but
do you reckon they're just stalking Blake? He's
No,
been over.
Not
He's
related.
been over. He's wreaked havoc over there.
It is not related to Blake. I don't know who Blake met over there, and I don't think I want to know who he's met. Kate, we've got you on the boundary. Your tip today in this afternoon's game. Are you tipping Boronia as well, or going against the flow and picking the home side?
Well, I can't remember what I put on my tips, so if you could remind me,
I
can make.
It was Boronia, I think.
I think it's going to be a close game because we know Beaconsfield always get a lift, especially playing at home. And on the side note, I'm waiting for the critique at every quarter from BWS on my boundary work. So, but I'll go Boronia, but I think it's going to be a really good contest. As for whether or not it'll be close, I honestly don't know. I just know that both teams really want this win against each other, and it'll be close then.
I tell you what, Kate, looking good in your Pat Cronin jumper there. Absolutely amazing. Well done.
Oh, well, our son went to Whitefriars and actually knew Pat because Pat was the year above. So, did make a massive impact on the Whitefriars community. So anything to stop violence and stop the loss of young men is absolutely worth it.
Thanks there, Kate, doing a great job on the boundary in Pat Cronin Foundation round. And I've gone Boronia as well, and I think it's going to be similar sort of margin. I think maybe 2 or 3 goals. But I wouldn't be surprised if it opens up the other way too. It is very hard to tell when the two sides have never met, and we're only, 4 weeks into the season.
And we'll have a score there from Davis Harrigan. 9 minutes into the first quarter, Oakley have jumped out of the blocks, 3-1 to Coldstream, 1 point. Cool.
Oh, fantastic. I've tipped Oakley today, so
yes.
I'm in a couple of tipping comps this year, Ray.
And also, as well, in Premier, Baldwin have kicked the opening goal against Mitcham. They lead 1 straight to Mitcham yet to score.
Thanks, Paul. So we'll get those scores around the grounds as well throughout the afternoon. The two sides out on the park at the moment. But, Ray, what's the keys for both sides winning this game? Everyone's tipped Boronia. So if that's the case, why are the Hawks going to win today? What's the factor there for Boronia?
Well, I just think that you look at the two sides out there. I think that they're just a bigger, stronger body side, and that Matt Clark alluded to that pre-game. And you look at come down this end, you look at the Beaconsfield side, a lot smaller, but they run the football. So it's going to be, like I said, a contest of Boronia kicking the ball long and high against Beaconsfield, waiting for their opportunities and short passing and running the ball in.
Yeah, definitely. And it is going to be a very big test for both teams to see where they're at. Boronia are about to make their way out to their positions on the field. Blake Tennant also joining us live. He's out at Jubilee Park this afternoon, and he's giving us an update there. Wanturna South to kick the opening 2 goals. Ringwood yet to score, and haven't the Devils been good this
Boundary.
season so far? Let's go back down to the boundary, Kate
Just
Green.
quickly, the wind is actually blowing right from media side across to the far side, straight across the centre of the field.
Absolutely right, as we're about to get underway here, and it's also another one for the Pat Cronin Foundation round as well. Have a look on our Facebook page, because if you want to win a Toyota RAV4, RAV4, is that what you call it?
A RAV4.
RAV4. Sorry, I'm not a car person.
You will be
Lee, you've got to train him up.
You can scan the QR code on our Facebook page. Every ticket sold directly supports us to continue delivering school and community club education programs that enable culture, respect and positive behaviour both on and off the field. Be wise, think carefully and act kindly. And that is the Pat Cronin Foundation round. RAV4, up for grabs. I don't actually need one. My Toyota Corolla is really struggling, Lee. Took a lot for it just to get out here. It was a half an hour trip. So it's on its last legs.
2 cylinders.
It's on its last legs. It won't get through the year, I don't think.
And, I was just about to say, you may hear through the effects, Mike. I don't know how long they're going to last out the game, but the Beaconsfield cheer squad is a whole lot of, I don't know, there'd probably be 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
Oh, really?
From the juniors just sitting right in front of us.
Yeah.
So
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that across the afternoon. But we're ready to go here at Holm Park Reserve for the first bounce. Chris Cordes, take us underway.
So it'll be Stewart versus Hannon in the ruck to start us off here in our match of the round, as the ball's just going to hit the deck. Beaconsfield first to it. Leapt on immediately, but the ball's come out somehow. So Boronia are going to win the first clearance, and they find hands and can now look to go inside forward 50. They've got a lead up, maybe tripped. Umpire said yes, he was. So Boronia with a chance out of the gates, almost 20 seconds in, through Josh Begley to get a shot on goal. As he was leading up, and his man lost his footing and was tripped as a result. So little to no angle here. He'll be kicking from about 30 or so metres out.
And if you look at that flag right in front of us, it's died at the moment, so I don't think the wind's going to be that much trouble.
So Begley already with 6 on the season, looking to make it 7 and open his account here in our Eastland match of the round. As he walks in, the kick is on its way, and the goal umpire doesn't have to move. So Boronia with a fast start, 1-6, plays Beaconsfield, yet to score.
Not the start that Beaconsfield would want, but all credit goes there to Boronia. The way, what I liked about it, Paul, was they used the corridor.
Yeah, absolutely, and they want it out of the middle, centre clearances. You know, that's going to be a vital stat today. Goals from centre clearances.
And he's already looking dangerous. Josh Begley kicked the 6 last week, as you said, Chris, and was fantastic. Kicked 4, I think, in the first quarter against Montrose, and he's already got the first one of the afternoon. Just a minute into this game. And we're back in the middle again. And this time, chance at Beaconsfield. Hannon picked it up, got it off to Mellis. Mellis ball towards the half-forward line, picked off this time by Brandon White. First real possession here for Beaconsfield. They go towards us on the broadcast side. Great marks in front there was Charlie Muley. Passed it off straight away. Now they're going to go inside 50 through Harris. Looking for a target, and he has one. And Jake Bode probably be kicking from just outside the arc if he has a set shot, looking for a runner. He's got one in Brandon White. Off the left boot, puts it towards the top of the square. A lot of Hawk players under this one. Punched away, looking to fall out to Jake Godwin, who gets a hand to it. Wrapped up in a tackle there by Jake Arts and going nowhere. So we'll get a ball up. We're 50 out from the Beaconsfield goal. A couple minutes into this first quarter. Holm Park Reserve. It's one down again this time by Stewart, picked up by Jordan Church in his Hawks colours this year, crossing over from Ferntree Gully. They clear this one out towards the boundary line. Cade De La Rue chasing that one over. Back from the side from VFL duties last week at Frankston.
So the ball up, far side wing here, true centre wing. So we'll wait for the Rucks to go at it again. It will be Hannon and Stewart once more playing their craft. Hannon will win the ruck contest, and it's been thrown on the boot straight away, but it's out through hands, through Mounter. Couldn't quite get a good handball out, but he got one out nevertheless, and now there's a holding the ball free kick. Going the way of Charlie Lavender, who's going to stutter, but look forward on the right foot. Find a lead up, targeting his man, Jake Godwin. The Hawks can now go forward. They like what they see in front of them. 1v1 contest. It was off the legs of Begley. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. Beaconsfield will now look to go backwards just to go forwards again, and they look to rebound now. On this broadcast side wings, they look down the line, just got the belly of the ball. Maybe lost the ball in the sun there for a second, the Boronia player, as Bowd's putting on pressure, and the ball will find its way out for a boundary throw-in.
Like I predicted before the first bounce, the ball is moving very quickly end to end.
So we'll have another boundary throw-in here, centre wing. The Rucks will go at it. It's Stewart this time who wins the tap down. Intercepted well by Mitch Mellis, who just picked off the handball and looks to find a lead up target. Can't quite do so. Beaconsfield defence playing on the front foot. And they'll look to come out now and find the safe hands of Josh Mounter, who can take some time and assess his options and look to go down the corridor. Got it to De La Rue. Wasn't quite 15 though, so De La Rue off hands. They've got the chance now to go again through Mounter, who will look down the line. 1v1 contest under it. Well done Well taken mark eventually paid there, going the way of Miles Curry. And Curry will go back to Delarue. So using the ball well here are Beaconsfield. They'll now look for another short lead up. Spoil was there. It's free kick. Payne is going to be played on, and in pursuit was Lavender, but going inside forward 50, looking for Bowd, and will get the mark.
You can see the two differences in style that I spoke about pre-game. Beaconsfield, they're quite content to hold the ball up, drop the ball in short, look for a player, whereas Boronia just bombed the ball into the forward line.
So it's Bowd here. He was a bit out of range earlier, but this one will most certainly be in his range. He'll be kicking from about 40 metres out, little to no angle. He's been more than accurate this season. He's got a tally of 7 goals through his side's first 2 games. And he'll walk in here, looking to level up the scoreboard as the kick is on its way, and it looks like it's pooling wide, and it is.
Boundary.
So Beaconsfield on the scoreboard now, but only through a minor score. We'll go boundary side to Kate Green.
That wind has picked up a little just as the Beaconsfield were kicking.
5.5 minutes gone first term, Ray.
Yeah, look, as I said, the ball's moving very quickly from end to end, and the two different styles of play.
Yeah, and Boronia, yeah, they're on top of the clearances early, but Beaconsfield are holding up well so far. They've had a bit of the footy, and they're building themselves into this game.
Burgess take the kick in for the Hawks, finds a target there in Mitch Mellis, who takes it on the chest. The halfback line for the Hawks. I'm sure we'll hear the name Mellis quite a bit this afternoon as he goes down the line this time. Far side, punch from behind there. Gaining a bit of territory for Beaconsfield. A smart little tap from Muley. Got it to Arts. Arts finds a target there in Winterton. Goes back to Johnston under a bit of pressure here. Just got boot to ball. Socket off the ground. And now gaining some territory right in the pocket. The boundary line will beat Miles Curry. And we'll get a boundary throw in.
Yeah, it's been a good response by Beaconsfield. Boronia had, it's still early. Boronia had the early flurry of forward 50 entries, but Beaconsfield, if they can get a goal back, will be a good response from them.
Boundary throw in back into play. Hannon got a small tap onto that one, picked up by Devon Smith, and we'll get another ball up inside 50 for the Eagles. Trailing one behind to 1 straight 6, the Hawks. Punched again out of there from Hannon, wrapped up in a big tackle. Yeah. Mellis was taken down, and this is now a chance for Beaconsfield to have the set shot through Ethan Harris. And
that was a great tackle.
About 40 metres out.
Yeah. They need to kick a goal here because they've had the ball inside their forward 50 for the last 2 or 3 minutes. Can't afford to go down the other end and the opposition get one.
Ethan Harris is not going to waste any time. He comes in up on the run up, about 45 metres out. Harris, the kick on its way. It's going to pull through for a goal. And the Eagles get their first 1-1-7 to the Hawks, 1 straight 6. And Harris is on the board.
They need that goal there, Beaconsfield. But no, it's a good response so far. And yeah, last couple minutes, Ray, Beaconsfield have had the territory in their forward 50.
Yeah, well, I've got inside 50s. I've got 4 to Beaconsfield, 3 to Boronia.
So we're ready to go just about again as Beaconsfield hit the front for the first time in this matchup here. First time that these two sides are faced, and the Rucks will go at it again. More or less cancel each other out as a ball fell to Max Brasher, and they're looking to bring it out now are the Hawks. Bit of a stumble as they went to pick up the footy. Ball still there to be won. Wrapped up now, and the umpire will call for it. So no real change in location.
Almost a free kick to Beaconsfield there. The Boronia player had the ball and he put it on the ground. Should have been holding the ball.
So again, looks like the ball's just going to drop and be pinned down to the ground there. So we'll have yet another ball up. I feel like the next clearance is big in cementing a stamp on this game as Hannon won the tip. Couldn't quite get it to clear advantage. And it's going to be yet another ball up. So not really moving here. But we will have another chance as it was Arts getting wrapped up then.
Got a quick score from Premier. Noble Park have got the jump on Blackburn. They lead 4-1-25 to 1 straight 6.
Oh. That's the start Noble
Can't
Park
trust
needed.
Blackburn.
As it'll be Stewart and Hannett to go at it again. Hannon wins the ruck contest. He's done well so far in this fixture. Will now pick it up Look to go. Stewart just hooks a handball out wide. It's Boronia with the numbers,
In the
though.
back,
And
yeah.
that's a dumping tackle.
Yeah.
So Beaconsfield will have a chance to go forward here through Miles Curry, and they'll work it wide first and now look for the entry inside 50. It's Bowd leading up. Couldn't quite get him. Mellis was coming over the back of him. That was Jake. As now Brode looks to come it out. Bring it out was Kieran Edwards. My apologies. As now Beaconsfield look to repel back inside 50, and the Hawks have the numbers. Bowd applying the pressure. Wrapped up in the tackle there. Doing the tackling was Denver Lund. And there'll be another ball up. So this time in the forward pocket, just outside the Beaconsfield upright. Just came off the hands of Mellis, and the chip kick was well contested by Hawks player, because sitting under it was an Eagle. And now Mitch Mellis just got disposed of, which you don't see very often, but took too long with it. So I was holding the ball, and they'll play on now, looking down the wing. There's a pack forming under the footy. It's off hands. It got into the hands of Luke Hannon, who just looks to get it forward. And in pursuit is number 21 for the Beaconsfield Eagles, but they'll repel now. And a chance for White to take a mark, who now looks into the corridor. And they've got some run going here if they can get it off hands, and they do just that through Jay Guards, who took on a man but looked to go wide and got it out there. Delarue looks infield now. The Beaconsfield have another chance to go forward as they look for a deep entry, and leading up and taking the mark was Marley Appleyard, who would just set himself now.
Gee, they moved that ball beautifully out of the half back line, didn't they? They didn't panic. They just kept the ball low and short.
Boundary.
Your boundary starts to cake rain quickly.
I'm liking how Beaconsfield is crisscrossing the field and not sticking just to one corridor or side.
So it's Appleyard from about 30 out. Bit of a tough angle. Bowd's under it and maybe took the mark. Umpire said touch, play on. And there's a holding free kick. Believe going the way of Jake Bowd.
A dump.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for it to be one. The goal umpire called a rush behind, but it was the officiating umpire that called a dump tackle or an incorrect tackle in any regard. So it would be Bowd, maybe one of the most routine shots of goal that he'll get this season. And he kicks his second of the day. Oh, his first of the day, I should say. So it's Bowd kicking his first, but Beaconsfield second, as they open up a 7-point deficit.
Yeah, it was wonderful play there by Beaconsfield. Really, using the run and carry and using the corridor as well. And like they're lowering the eyes when they're entering the forward 50, right?
Yeah, Paul, they're controlling the football. They're not letting Boronia have access to it. That's a big thing.
So back in the middle again, 2-1-13, Beaconsfield leading Boronia 1 straight 6. 12 minutes gone, first term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Update out at Walker Park between the two Tigers. Baldwin leading that game 26-7. Charlie Haley kicking 3 goals already in the first term for Baldwin.
It's actually 38-7.
There you go, an even updated result. So on top, Baldwin. Back here, Hannon with the tap down. Here's Mellis. His handball's cut off. Follows up with the tackle on De La Rue. Or in fact, that's Cooper Brown now in the midfield for the Eagles.
Just some Division 1 scores quickly. Bayswater lead 2-1-13 to 1-3-9 over Norwood. And South Belgrave with a big start over North Ringwood, 5-5-35 to North Ringwood, 1 behind.
Free kick coming back here to Mitch Mellis in the middle of the ground. And he'll switch it towards the far side. Bouncing footy in front of Luke Hannon. The handball back to Henry. And Henry's kick is out of bounds on the full. So taking the kick here will be Cooper Brown to bring this back into play for the Eagles. And on top, the Eagles in the last 5 to 6 minutes. The short kick finds Mowat. And he'll take a bit of time before moving the ball down the line in front position. Couldn't quite take the mark there was Denver Lund. Now it's picked off by the Hawks. Mellis. Short kick forward, big fly, and he's been able to take the mark there in Ethan Harris. Been lively early for Beaconsfield. The jump over the top to take that one. And instead looks to go back as De La Rue playing in front of Charlie Lavender. They haven't panicked with the footy just yet. Finds Josh Mounter. And now they're off. They're using the corridor, taking the game on. Begley here, big tackle laid.
He should have kicked it while he was free.
He was too slow, and Josh Begley here will earn himself a free kick and play on straight away. Wants to move this quickly towards the top of the square, looking for Robertson. He's got 2 to beat. Got his hands to it. Might end up with the foot. He's got 3 Eagles around him who want a deliberate call. He's not going to get it.
They must be new.
They don't pay him, do they?
I tell you what, that Beaconsfield player running through the middle, I don't know who it was, but once he got caught, I reckon his name's in Mick Fogarty's book for a big
I think it was De La Rue.
Does it? Okay.
Hopefully Mick Fogarty doesn't know that for De La Rue's sake. But we'll have a boundary throw in. The forward pocket of Boronia's forward 50 is looking to just grab it out of the ruck was Luke Hannon. And we'll have yet another ball up as it's wrapped up inside there. So still about 25 to 30 metres out of the Boronia uprights as with Luke Hannon who wins the tip, looking to bring it out. Boronia now just ran into a bit of trouble and is pinned for holding the ball. So nowhere to go there for Damon Fairchild as the Eagles have a chance to repel now. We'll look to set up and just chip one down the wing and find the waiting hands of Devon Smith. So Beaconsfield more than happy to just slow the tempo down and find some short targets as they find another one there in Hayden Brough.
They're just starving Boronia of the football. You know, that's all they're doing, keeping it away from them.
So Brough is told, he's given his marching orders now. We'll look to chip inside the corridor and we'll find a teammate in Charlie Muley. So very slow, methodical pace of play from Beaconsfield, and now they just hoof one. Looking for the forward 50. Bowd was under. There was good body work from his direct opponent. Looking to bring it out now. The Eagles' footies hit the deck. Lots of scrap. He got onto the boot, but it'll only go as far as I believe Muley again.
Boronia players get possession, they're mauled by
They're under a lot of pressure,
players.
Paul. They're under a lot of pressure.
And White's kick into the forward 50 was tapped down, roved by Mellis. Boronia still with the ball, looking to bring it out. He's got a bit of work to do here, did Ryan White, but he did well as now the ball goes down the line. Begley's around it, hands to the footy, got a handball off to his teammate. Few players trying to get a very evasive here as eventually Hayden Stanley is very happy to just take it over the boundary line.
Yeah, a lot of players around the football, isn't there?
High pressure footy from both teams here as neither side really willing to give an inch as Beaconsfield still boasts a 7-point margin as the Rucks will go at it. It's tapped down. Bounce won't favour the Hawks. As a matter of fact, it's going to come out through Beaconsfield. Bounces to Appleyard, who's wrapped up in the tackle straight away. And the umpire will call for a ball up. So we're just inching closer and closer to the Eagles uprights here. As the Rucks will go at it again. It's White with the footy in hand, but wrapped up once more. Those opening terms turn into a bit of a cagey affair now. It's the ball up. Hannon will win the tap down. His teammate couldn't quite take it cleanly. Footy eventually made its way out. I'm not sure if the players were expecting that. Hayden Stanley drops on the ball and it'll be another ball up. So we're just on the edge of the centre square here. Hannon wins yet another tap down. He's been immense in the ruck so far.
In the back.
Another hit out for him, and it's in the back, and advantage is going to be paid. So Boronia with a chance to get on the outside here, and they look forward into a lead. Beaconsfield have numbers back. It's in the direction of Begley. He's pursued by Jack Doherty and will go out for a boundary throwing.
I like that matchup of Doherty on Begley. You know, I think that in the air, Doherty, he's fantastic with the intercept, mark and spoil.
17.5 minutes gone first term. Benny Gabank scoreboard 2-1-13. Beaconsfield leading Boronia 1 straight 6. As the ball is brought back to play inside 50 for the Hawks. No one with a clear tap out. Bouncing footy eludes everyone. Picked off this time by Mowat. Slung around in a tackle. And no call here. So we'll get a ball up just outside 50 now for the Hawks. Trailing by 7 points. Hannon with the tap down to Brasher. Brasher goes back to Mellis. Had a lot of the footy early. A smart kick in the direction of Lavender, and he got cleaned up after he took the mark. It won't be 25-metre penalty, but it will be a set shot for the youngster.
Quarter time at Mitcham. Mitcham 2-2-14, Baldwin 6-2-38.
Thanks, Ray, as Charlie Lavender will line up from about 40 metres out. Bit of an angle down here at Holm Park Reserve. He's been able to hit the scoreboard in his first couple of games with the Hawks. This one's going to go to the right. He will sneak in for a minor score, so just a behind. 1-1-7 Boronia, trailing Beaconsfield 2-1-13. Coming up to the 19th minute mark of this first term on the Benny Gabank scoreboard.
So the Eagles will bring it back into play, as you just heard. One straight kick in it. So they'll look to this broadcast side wings. We got boundary side to Kate Green.
One thing I'm noticing quickly in this game compared to ones we've previously had is both teams spread. They don't bulk up on one side or the other or in the corridor.
Big start by Park Orchards. They lead 6-1-37 over Moorabach, 2 behinds.
So Wex has kicked forward, has got a ball up inside the Hawks forward 50s. It's tapped out by Hannon. That's Luke Hannon this time. As Beaconsfield would just look to repel numbers under the footy. One of them was Tom Stewart, who was actually outnumbered 3-1, but it's ended up in the hands of Kieran Edwards nevertheless. And now it's a high kick, going to drop to the edge of the square, off hands, off fist. It's in the hands of Damon Fairchild. He gets on it to the left, kicks a goal. Just couldn't quite work the angles out, so a minor score for Fairchild there as the Hawks doing well to lock the ball in.
Just got some scores in Div 2. Waverley Blues lead over Croydon 1-5-11 to 1 behind. East Burwood lead over Heathmont 2-2-14 to 4 behinds. Surrey Park lead 4-2-26 to Mulgrave 1-4-10, and Ronnie South lead 2-4-16 to Ringwood 2 straight.
So it's a dangerous kick from Beaconsfield that went over the man intended and caused a bit of a contest, but they'll have a chance to go again now that it's out of the bounds on the full. So we're into time on in this opening term of the Eastland match of the round.
There will be a boundary throw-in in the pocket.
Boundary throw-in, righto. So the Rucks will set themselves up, as will the Rovers, and the ball's in now. It's going to come off hands. Rucks more or less cancel each other out. Lavender was around the footy. It's popped out now. No one really able to get it around. It is Begley. If someone's going to do something, it will be him. And it's quite professionally seen over the line by Brendan White.
So it's just a minor score, 139, or 128, should I say, Boronia? No, I was right, 139 to the Eagles, 2-1-13, coming up to 21 minutes gone first term. And they look to play on straight away. Now a chance for Harris. At half back here for the Eagles. Finds a target in Appleyard. He'll look now to switch it. Dangerous kick, and they look to just get away with that. Brown takes the mark. Awarded the mark. It could have gone wrong. But now they're a chance to go forward at the half-forward line. The Hawks with all the numbers. Jake Mellis off to Brasher and off to Mitch Mellis. Got plenty of room in front of him. He'll look to kick it in front here of the youngster. And Charlie Lavender keeps it in front of him and keeps it in. He can have a set shot from here. Puts it on the right boot towards Robertson. Goal square. Couldn't quite take the mark. Now there's 4 Eagles who can mop up the mess here and clear it out of defence. And they get away with one. Here's Jake Arts. At half-back for Beaconsfield, broadcast side. Doesn't have much ahead of him, so we'll just have to go long in the direction of Jake Bode. Or Bowd. And that ball ends up out of bounds, and we'll get a boundary throw in. 22 minutes gone first term. Thanks for joining us, EFNL YouTube and Facebook streams, as well as our listeners on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM. It's the ball brought back into play. Hannon.
That was a throw.
That was a one-armed hand pass.
Yes.
It's like, here you go, have it.
So now a chance for the Eagles to set up as... I'm going to let you take over, Chris, because my headset just blew up.
That's all right. So Mark will be taken in there by Damien Johnson, the skipper of the Eagles, and he gets quite a lot of distance on the kick. Standing under it was a Hawks player. Had his arms chopped, and Boronia will look to go quickly, and Kieran Edwards is there. Take the mark, hands it off to Mitch Mellis, running through the middle. Looks to just get a centering ball, put his teammate in a bit of a hospital situation there, as White's got the footy off hands. Under it was Jake Mellis, who got it back to White. They have to go backwards to go forward now. Boronia suffocating pressure from Beaconsfield, but they do well to take the mark and can now slingshot out the other way through Luke Flanagan. Flanagan with a short chip kick. It couldn't quite be taken cleanly by Brusher. Still looking to bring it out now. Brusher gets it inside to Dower. Dylan Dower looking for Robertson in the forward 50. Couldn't quite take it. Begley's around it. Picks it up on the right boot. Maybe spoiled there. Came out through Damien Johnson, who's got the ball and is wrapped up by Lavender.
Caught, yeah. Broke the first tackle, couldn't break the second one.
So Johnson biting off more than he can chew, and it means that Lavender will have the chance to have another set shot.
I've liked his game
from
so
his
far.
last one. He's been very energetic on that far side. So he'll be kicking from a 45-degree angle, 25 metres out. As Charlie Lavender lines up and kicks truly. So that's his 5th goal of the season, first for today. And it puts Boronia back ahead as the scoreboard reads Beaconsfield 2-1-13, Boronia 2-3-15. The Hawks with a 2-point lead.
Yeah, he's come across from the basin, Ray. And,
has he? Yeah.
And for someone so young and such an experienced side to earn your spot in straight away in round 1 and then be able to hold it and play really well in the first 3 weeks.
It's amazing how some players, they go up divisions, and then because it's a better class of football, they tend to, find their own level and play good football.
It's a great definition of a small forward.
Yeah,
nothing in this game.
He's been fantastic in the early stages of this first quarter. The Hawks in front, 2-3-15 to 2-1-13 Beaconsfield. Luke Hannon now in the ruck for the Hawks. Here's Max Brasher with the clearance. Bouncing footy at the half-forward line. It falls into the hands of Brandon White. He used Connor Mowat, and they'll look to go and try and switch this up to Mounter. Just overdid the kick. The push almost giving away a free kick. The Eagles on Stanley. Nothing called, and we'll get a ball up on the far side. Approaching quarter time. We're coming up to the 25th minute mark of this first term. So ball up on that far side. One out by Luke Hannon. Got it to Ryan White. Ryan White delivering kick inside 50 is a turnover and falls into the hands. Is that 21? Have we got a 21?
I don't think so.
So we'll
Mystery man.
We'll get Kate to follow up on that one as Beaconsfield switch it towards us on the broadcast side.
Good mark.
Taking the mark there. It was number 9, and we haven't got number 9 on the team sheet too as he goes inside 50 in the direction of Jake Bowd. Almost gave away a free kick. The only one holding his feet was Cooper Brown, who puts through the Eagles' third of the afternoon. 3-1-19 to 2-3-15 Boronia. 25 minutes gone first quarter. Sorry, Kate, we've given you a bit of work with a couple of numbers to chase up.
Sorry, Boronia or Beaconsfield? Because I did have both coaches went through and said, yep.
That's okay. Beaconsfield number 9 and 21.
21, okay.
That was a great play by Beaconsfield. They brought the ball from coast to coast to get that goal.
Absolutely, and they moved it quickly. They put Boronia's defence under the pump. They found the outnumber too, and it was a great play there by Beaconsfield into an open goal.
Bit of a defensive miscue there from the Hawks defenders as two flew at the footy and it got out the back, but play will resume as Hannon just grabs it out of the ruck, throws it on the right boot. It's spoiled straight away, but now Mellis looking to combine with a teammate.
Great tackle.
In the back.
Umpire disagrees, so it's going to be in the back, and there's the quarter time siren, so we'll have a set shot.
It's a bit unlucky because he did tackle him okay. He just had nowhere to go except in his back.
Paul Curtis got 3 weeks for that, but never mind as Dylan Dower will look to send the ball, kick from about 55 out, and it will drop short. So quarter time.
Oh, almost snuck through.
Well, it's been given to behind, so fair enough.
Played to behind.
As a quarter time scoreboard, Bendigo Bank scoreboard reads Beaconsfield 3-1-19 with a 3-point lead over Boronia 2-4-16.
And I have a score from Roval. Vermont 3-1-19, Roval 2-3-15.
Thanks, Ray, as we go to quarter time here. Quickly, Kate, just jump changes.
Number 9, Brow is actually 9, not 8.
Yep.
And that's Brow as in B-R-O-U-G-H. And Brown that you have down as 42 is actually 21.
Thanks, Kate.
And I'm going to have a chat with these coaches.
All right, thanks, Kate. We're going to quarter time here. It is Beaconsfield leading Boronia 3-1-19 to 2-4-16.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Holm Park Reserve, Eastland match of the round. Beaconsfield taking on Boronia, and at quarter time it is the Eagles, the home side, leading 3-1 19 to 2-4 16. Boronia out here at Holm Park in Pat Cronin Foundation round. I was going to go to Ray Baird for his special comments, but he's off having a look over the balcony at the moment. Chris Cordes and Paul Uconi also joining us. Paul, what was your thoughts on that first term?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good contest that first quarter. Beaconsfield are moving the footy really well. They're using a lot of the corridor. Boronia, they've had opportunities as well. Mitch Mellis is getting a lot of the footy for Boronia so far, so that's a play that Beaconsfield need to keep an eye on, Ray.
Yeah, look, as I said, alluded to at the start of the game, 2 different styles of football, and you can see what Beaconsfield do. They try to starve the opposition of the football. They keep the ball low. They don't kick it long into their forward line. And when the ball does go into their back 50, they spread very well. And
they're very patient too, Beaconsfield.
Yeah, they spread very well to the wide open spaces, and they kick the ball not to the contest. They kick it out so the players run onto the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. One player I really liked is Charlie Lavender for the Hawks. Been lively up forward, got one late, but probably could have potentially even had another one. I thought he was really impressive.
Boundary.
As we're going to go down to Kate Green because I believe she has Matt Clark with her.
Matt, you spoke about in the huddle. Forgive me, I was spying. You said to the guys that they had a really good start, great, good forward pressure. The backs had good contact. You spoke about the chain of run. What are you expecting for of the guys with that?
Yeah, so I thought for a 5 or 7 minute period that we just kicked down the line and really predictable, which is they build from the back, and I thought we allowed them to get the numbers into a spot that we don't want them to, and they were able to rebound, and they virtually scored every time we did that. What I want to do is just take the game on by hands. We're a handball inside. We want to chain up and run and be risk. I think the goal scoring opportunities we've had is from quick ball movement, dangerous parts of the ground, and just playing with the flair that we know we've got.
So you overall really happy with the guys, and just if they just step up the game and keep up with the voice and what you've just mentioned then?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought defensively we need to improve a couple of times. I think we've given them head starts from our half-back line where we're allowing them to get too much free use around the middle and then able to hit the targets up too easily. But I think once we tighten a couple of areas, put a bit more pressure around the footy, force a bit of a dump kick, I think then we can come into the game and rebound. But overall, I've been happy with the quarter. 6 shots to 4. I thought, we look dangerous when we're going forward. We've just got to clean up a couple of things around the footy and behind the footy, and I think it's something to work on.
Thanks very much, Matt. All the best.
Thanks, Kate. Down there with the Boronia senior coach, Matt Clark. Their side trailing by 3 points at quarter time.
And I had forward 50s, 12 to Boronia, 9 to Beaconsfield.
Probably a bit of a few momentum swings in that quarter in the last 5 minutes with positive signs for the Hawks as we're back in the middle, ready to go for this second term as the last few patrons make their way off the field. Pat Cronin round, of course, at the end of the day, both sides will be awarded a medal, one player from each team for their best on-ground performance, thanks to Pat Cronin Foundation. As we're ready to go here. Second term at Holm Park. Chris Cordes, lead us in.
So it's Beaconsfield versus Boronia, 19 versus 16. Stewart versus Hannon in the ruck as it will fall into Stewart's hands, who's wrapped up straight away by Hannon. So 3 points the margin here in a tightly fought opening term as we're now into the second. Of course, and there's, thought I heard a whistle but must not have been as the ball spilled out, bodies dropping on the footy, and the umpire will call for the ball. So no real winner of territory yet in this second term as it's going to come out to Mellis. He throws on the right boot. Footy's just going to find a big patch of grass. In pursuit of it is Cooper Duncanson. So now looking to shake his opponent. It was a good tackle, looking to go via hands of the Hawks, as we just heard in Kate Green's interview on the boundary. Kate doing a great job as always as Mellis applying the pressure. Tackling Johnson, looking to bring it out now through Brasher, and Boronia will go forward into looking for their forward 50, but it's a bit shallower and it finds the hands of Luke Hannon, who handballs again, and it's the handoff. Looking inside again, deep contest. Robertson's in there, 1v1. Well done from the defender. Lavender's around it, he just bobbled up. He couldn't quite take it. Maybe taken without the footy, but the umpire says nothing doing, and we'll have a boundary throwing in Boronia's forward pocket.
That was good effort by Devine there, the defender for Beaconsfield. He's a lot lighter than his opponent, Robertson.
Exactly right, and one out well in that 1v1 contest to bring the footy to ground. As around the footy is Luke Hannon now. It's going to spill out, just looking to hoof it out and clear their lines of the Eagles. Stocko, good body work now in the tackle, and the umpire's going to call for a ball up just on the 50-metre arc here at Holm Park. So we're 50 out from the Hawks uprights as Stewart gets a mighty leap at it and hits it out towards the boundary. Will find its way there as Brusher shepherds it over. So still in the Boronia forward half. So Hawks will be looking to hit the scoreboard first. Boundary throw-in comes in. It's Hannon who wins the ruck contest this time. Tantalising contest in there from the two big men as Mellis looks to get the handball down the line, and it's gone out of bounds again. So we're deadlocked here, maybe 60 metres out from Boronia's goal. There's plenty of bodies around the footy, highly pressure game. As we saw in the first quarter, as Mellis gets hands out, gives Brusher a fair bit to do.
What do you reckon Mellis is up to, about 15 disposals, Ray?
Yeah, he's up around that mark.
He's
he's
had a ton of it.
He's been really predominant.
The boundary throw-in comes in again, and the rucks will go out at this time, hit out by Hannon. Gee, a pile driving tackle that he's going to get pinned for, and the umpire's reaching for a card here, and it will be a yellow card. So it's a yellow card to, I believe, Joshua Hannon for that tackle, who has been arguably Boronia's best player so far this term. And that's going to be a massive loss.
Ball's going to come back too as well. It's going to go back to Jake Arts. Kate Green on the boundary.
I think it was just because of the tackle was dangerous in its application.
Yeah, you're right, Kate. He's gone off at the 3-minute mark, so he'll be off for another 15 minutes.
So Stewart might be able to get on top of this game now for Beaconsfield in the next 15.
We saw Luke Hannon in the ruck giving Josh a bit of a chop out in the first quarter. You imagine he's probably the go-to here.
So the Hannon's brilliant in the ruck as always, but they'll be missing Josh now as Beaconsfield look down the line, and the ball just spilled out from Miles Curry's grasp. We'll have another boundary throwing out there, true centre wing on the far side. Quite a nice backdrop here at Holm Park as well.
It's not bad, is it?
As Stewart will go up in the ruck against Luke Hannon as predicted, and Luke Hannon now gets it, fakes the right, goes inside, just throws it on the boot. Brandon White, terrific use of body, terrific mark taken as well, the general back there.
No, he's paid it against him.
Oh, he's paid it. Wow, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was perfect use of the body there by White. Very stiff to get a free kick against him for that one.
Ray, they're clamping down on a bit of the really heavy, rough stuff.
So go inside forward 50 now. Will the Hawks, after that free kick, 3 players flying at it. Beaconsfield will just be able to set out of bounds. So a chance again now with Boronia with the territory right next to their goalposts.
They've had the territory for a good 5 minutes here. So they need to get a goal out of this stoppage.
Lavender was around the footy. We brought out through Johnson, connecting handball with Devon Smith, and now they go out through Stocko. Out to the foot of Ali Zajai, who looks wide now. At the bruck was Ethan Harris, who's got a couple men to beat and does so well still with the footy. They go backwards to go forward. Now Zajai kicks it again. Leading up is a Beaconsfield player, and there's a free kick going the Eagles' way. So first real time in this term that Beaconsfield have worked the footy into their forward half as they'll look long now, and there's a pact forming. Hannon was there in a set mark taken by Luke Flanagan.
So Luke Flanagan in the back pocket here for the Hawks. 5.5 minutes gone, second term. No score in this second quarter. Still 3-1, playing 2-4. The Eagles leading. He'll go back towards that side. Duncanson was pushed in the back and has won himself a free kick. Tucked away on the boundary line here. He's looking to use the middle of the ground because he's got Jake Mellis all by himself, taking the mark on the chest. He'll now switch this off to Daniel Wex. Bouncing footy for the former Tiger. Got the handball off to Flanagan. Flanagan looking in the direction of Lavender. And in front position, doing very nicely there, KT LaRue. And he'll look to play on straight away. And the Eagles will go back to White. White switching it now towards the far side. And the mark is taken by Zijai, who's had a fair bit of it in this quarter. Short chip finds Johnston. Johnston finding KT LaRue, getting involved as well in this quarter. And he hits up a target, and they're looking to go through the corridor, and now in the direction of Jake Ballard. He's taken the mark on the chest, and a chance to go back and kick Beaconsfield first of the second term.
Great play there by Beaconsfield. They're really taking their time when they're going forward. Then, you know, as you said a couple of times before, Ray, they're really starving Boronia of the football.
Yeah.
And
what they're doing, they're bringing the Boronia defenders right up out of that forward 50 so that when they get a slingshot, they've got wide open spaces to run into.
We're right behind this one. Bowd kicking from about 45 metres out. That's going to fade to the left, and just a minor score for the first score of the second term for either side. Beaconsfield 3-2-20 leading Boronia 2-4-16. We've played 7.5 minutes in this second term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So it'll be Harry Burgess to bring the footy back in.
3 inside 50s each this quarter.
So it went through the netting, so he's just got to go through.
Have we got someone to get the ball for Harry instead of him
going into the car park?
The place is packed, but there's not one person behind those goals. Not one.
I see a couple of people sitting in the car nearby. Could have probably got up and
they'll be
walked over.
Beaconsfield players, obviously.
Boundary. Then they couldn't listen to you guys.
Yeah.
So it will be Harry Burgess to bring the ball back in. Been going to 87% efficiency so far this season, but that kick will only find Damien Johnson's hands. Takes intercept mark on that far side wing. We'll have a chance to repel now for his side. So we just look to pump it forward. Deep entry inside 50 will go over the head of Bowd. Leading up there was a Boronia defender, and it's off a foot, and the mark will be taken. Just standing all alone there, and he really just dropped to him.
See, Matty Clark will not be happy with that. He had 3 of his defenders all contesting the mark amongst themselves, and of course they fumbled it, and a pick up off the ground, kick it straight to the opposition.
So it's Josh Mount, so they'll have this set shot, slight angle, maybe a 30-degree angle, kicking from about 30 metres out. And we saw in the first term, Beaconsfield got a goal out the back because the Boronia defenders were all flying and no one stayed down.
Got to aim for this right-hand goal post, the way that flag's blowing there.
Maybe the same mistake here. So it will be Josh Mounter to kick the first goal of this second term as he walks in. Sprays it right.
Shouldn't have listened to me.
Yeah, he listened to you, Ray. That's the problem.
Boundary.
Go boundary side to Kate Green.
Ray, just with that, there's just a lot of quiet comments going on in the Boronia camp with what just happened. So be interesting to hear what Matt Clark has to say at half time.
9.5 minutes gone, second term. 3-3 plays 2-4. Jordan Church receiving the kick in from Harry Burgess. 9.5 minutes gone. No goals kicked in this quarter. Up to Ryan White. Had a big game against Bayswater. And the mark was dropped by Tyson Henry. And now a chance of Beaconsfield to mop this one up. A bit of pressure laid by Hayden Bro, wearing the number 9 now.
Already in this second quarter, we saw the first 5 minutes were in Boronia had the momentum, and now at the moment it's Beaconsfield.
A tap down there by Luke Hannon, picked up by White, tackled right away. So ball going nowhere, but Beaconsfield probably haven't made the most of their opportunities in the last few minutes. They're looking for a goal here. And we're going to get another ball up inside 50. Bit of push and shove.
Boundary.
Going on there with is that Jake Arts and Chompers White. Let's go. We won't go to the boundary just yet because we're still in play here. Here's Wex, got the handball to White. Picked up by Mellis. Somehow it just gets through the pack. Picked up now by Hayden Bro. Wrapped up in a tackle by White. No decision made. Boundary, Kate Green, quickly.
Just quickly, that last argy-bargy was because it was a bit high in that tackle and it wasn't picked up.
So the ball going nowhere. We're going to get another stoppage here, but the feeling in this term, Ray?
Tell you what, there's more players around that stoppage than what there is down the local polling booth at the moment.
Ball's got out the back of the pack. Church off hands. Hawks will look to it. Work it down this line. It's now in the hands of Nathan Hare, who will get it back now. Burst through the middle. Well done by Hare. And a terrific chain of handballs and punch right then. And nearly got out the Hawks, but Beaconsfield were there to match, and they've done terrifically to get the ball out for a boundary throw-in.
You talk about a chain of hand passes, but that was because Beaconsfield forced them into it. That was great play by Beaconsfield. The pressure on every one of those that received a hand pass.
That's exactly right, Ray. And if you can keep your opponent to having about 11 possessions and only go on 50 metres, you'll take that most days of the week, as Stewart can't quite take it cleanly out the ruck. Johnson's there, gets it to Delarue, steps in, stumbles, but he's okay. It's now in the hands of Max Brasher and Mellis now, and they're chaining up now. The Hawks again need to get it inside forward 50. They do so through the boot of Luke Hannon. 3v2 there in favour of the Eagles. It'll pop out, well pressured by Begley. Gee, lucky not to give away a dumping tackle there, and there's a few afters there from the Eagles.
I thought Beaconsfield were almost a bit lucky not to give away the free kick for the retaliation.
So all's well that ends well. We'll have a ball up in the forward pocket for Boronia. Not yet able to hit the scoreboard. Neither side not yet able to hit a major. As Begley's in the ruck, really just runs into his man, and Beaconsfield look to bring it out. Misplaced handball, but they'll still look to come out this boundary line. Just in front of us in this broadcast sign, we'll have another boundary throw-in.
Like the feeling between these two sides. There's a bit of...
Just going to say, a little bit of feeling coming into this quarter. Might be the first time they play, but it won't be the last.
No.
And if the future fixtures are going to be anything like this, this will be an exciting matchup for Shorers. Going to be wrapped up in a tackle there as the ball ended up in Stocko's hand somehow, so it'll be...
Very lucky not to be pinged for a high tackle, that.
Hannon and Lund in the ruck as it's tapped down into the hands of Cooper Brown, who's wrapped up as a result. So Lund will go at it again, so too Hannon. Lund wins the hit out. Applying pressure there was Brusher. And just they're all jumping on Jake Arts at the moment, so almost stacks on here. So we'll have another ball up. Again, no one really able to give up an inch or willing to give up an inch. No one able to take an inch as the ball hit the ground. Neither ruck got to it, and now they're looking to bring it out through Mellis. Had to dive as he handballed Lavender around the footy. Couldn't quite take it clean. We'll have another boundary throw in just inside the forward 50 pocket for Boronia.
Just some scores quickly in Division 3. Fair Park lead over Sylvan by 22 points, 6-7-43 to 2-9-21.
Wow. All right, as the ball's gone out, it's a 1v1 contest now between Church and Appleyard. Church is going to win out for now over the youngster, and he'll look down the line and he'll looking for the hands of Damon Fairchild, but couldn't quite get it there. It's Brandon Wild was around the footy and did well to get the ball out of bounds.
Sorry, another score from Div 3. Knox lead 3-5-23 over Scoresby 2-4-16.
The balls come in, and it will be the Hawks that just send it inside 52v2. Roberts is under it. Oh, and it was a terrifically taken mark. Standing under it was Joshua Begley. Could have put your house on. It was an absolute clunk of a mark there. Stood tall in the pack. One of four men just at the top of the square. And he'll go back to kick this little to no angle from about 15 to 20 metres out. For a player of his quality, you doubt he'll miss this as Begley walks in. And he kicks truly. So first major of the second term goes Boronia's way, and it goes Josh Begley's way as he gets the second for himself today.
Well, it took 15 minutes for a goal to be kicked in this second quarter, and you go back to a couple of set shots that Beaconsfield missed down the other end, Ray, and Boronia make them punish them.
Yeah, they did, but it's been no goals kicked because it's been very tight football.
Yeah, that's right.
Just got some Division 2 scores. Surrey Park lead over Mulgrave 6-2 38 to 1-4-10, and Ringwood lead 7-2 to 1 Turner South 3-5 23.
And Ryan, this one will please you. Coldstream 3-2 20 to Oakley Districts 10-4 64.
It's only pleased me. I tipped him. I don't have anything against Coldstreams, but back in the middle again, Lund with the tap down. Hannon up the handball off to Mellis. And Boronia win this out, looking for Hare. Hare to send the Hawks into attack in the direction of Fairchild. Got 2 to beat. Almost coming down with the mark was Moat. Fairchild, the handball over the top to Dower. Long towards the top of the goal square. Robertson couldn't quite grab it. Tapped it in front of him and almost got it off to Lavender. And the kick is intercepted by Hare. Not 15 apparently to the umpire, and there'll be now a ball up.
I think that was a good decision. It didn't go 15 metres.
So we had a ball up inside 50 here for the Hawks, leading by a point 16 minutes into this second quarter. Tapped down by Godwin. And the ball going nowhere, so...
Big news out of Roval is that Wiedemann is off the ground with his arm in a sling.
Ooh. Really? Not good news there. White coming through with this footy. Picked off this time by Brown. Towards the boundary line. Wex chasing this and over and out. So we get a boundary throw on far side. 16.5 minutes gone second term.
Just on that injury to Wiedemann, with Buxton out as well, they're losing all their big talls.
Yeah, that's not good if that's true. As Dower picks it off and gets the handball off to Hannon. Now stolen by the Eagles. Zijai goes down the line over the top of everyone. It falls into the hands of the Boronia skipper and Burgess, who was taken as he kicked it. So that will be 25-metre penalty. Or, in fact, yeah, it's coming back.
Coming back the other way.
Okay, it is a 25-metre penalty, and Dylan Dow will take this ball centre wing, far side. Hasn't got much on offer. So we'll put it towards a pack of players here. Standing in front position. Well done, Ryan White. It's a long way out from goal. And towards the top of the square. Begley will fly for this one. Got 2 to beat. Ball out the back. Godwin chasing this one. Couldn't keep it in. Boundary throw in. 17 coming up to 18 minutes gone second term. 3-4 plays 3-3.
So 18 minutes gone doesn't just mean we're nearly into time on, also means that Joshua Hannon will be eligible to come back on the field soon after
boundary.
That yellow card for that tackle. As we'll go boundary side in just a second. It is tucked out the back. Mellis picking up the footy. Somehow got the handball off. He did terrifically. Wrapped up now by 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. Beaconsfield players is Nathan Hare. We'll go down the boundary side now for Kate Green.
Your prediction of Hannon coming back on, he's just warming up and getting ready to enter the interchange box.
Thank you for that, Kate. As Luke Hannon this time will throw one on the right boot. Kick goes high, very high. Delarue flew, brought it down with him, and there's a free mark paid perhaps to Delarue, which looks like, and it's a very impressive contested mark there as an interceptors. He'll find Josh Mauner in plenty of space. His defensive 50. We just look out wide to Brandon White, who's taken the mark. Has to reassess his options a few times now and looks down to Cooper Brown here just in front of us on this broadcast side wing as Beaconsfield showing their methodical style of players. That's quite a short looking 15 metres there as Delarue took the mark. And we'll now look at what's in front of him. He's overcooked the kick to Stocko, and that's the risk of going slow, but they've won out well here. They contest the ball through Hayden Brow, and they'll just send it forward. Now Bowd's in pursuit. Burgess looking to keep him away. Burgess dives on the footy. Couldn't quite take it. Bowd's out the back. Couldn't quite sit up for him. Is a snap around the corner now. Calls for touch, but it's a behind either way. So the footy not quite able to sit up there.
Once again, a problem there that Matty Clark has got to address at half-time is that his backs are all coming too far up the field. And what Beaconsfield do. They do that slingshot over the top and get their players running into the open spaces.
And it's a miscommunication that has cost them a goal or two, but they're lucky it doesn't cost them even more as the Hawks just send a dumping kick outside the defensive 50 and it's off hands. Mellis around the footy, surprise, surprise. Now it's out to Wex. Hands it off and they'll look down the line. Kicks a bit scuffed, awkward bounce. It will roll out. Beaconsfield will get to this one. And it's Moat just below us who's now doesn't have a lot of options but finds the hands of a teammate in Delarue who looks down the line. 3v1 favouring the Hawks. They'll look to repel through Cooper Duncanson. Bring it out now down the line. It gets to Mellis who steps inside again, gets a handball off and crunched in a tackle.
Gee, I like the pressure of Beaconsfield. The pressure they're putting on the ball carrier is absolutely amazing.
They've been up for it, that's for sure, Ray, but not yet able to turn that pressure into a goal in this third term. So they're looking to bring it out once more. Brandon White around the footy. Footy in the hands of Devon Smith, who is wrapped up. So true centre wing here. He's going to come out through a chain of handballs now to Arts and out to Delarue, who's got some space to run. And so too does Ali Zajayo, has the footy now and sends it long, was hit as he kicked.
I think it's a free kick.
It's a free kick going against Charlie Lavender.
This is a big kick for Beaconsfield. They've left about probably 1 or 2 goals in the shed this quarter, and they've kicked just the 3 behind. So they really need this goal, right?
A bit of undisciplined play there by the young fellow in Lavender. You can't put the player down after he kicks the ball, so consequently it was paid downfield.
So it's a downfield free kick, and Bowd's been deemed to be the closest one to it. So who better to take a set shot for a downfield free kick than Jake Bowd, who'll be looking for his second of the day. The first of the term for the Eagles is he's kicking on a very slight angle from about 25 metres out. As Bowd walks in, throws on the left boot and kicks truly. Never a doubt about that one. So Boronia punished for their ill discipline as Jake Bowd, like we just said, gets his second of the day.
Yeah,
9th for the season.
He's become the main forward down there for Beaconsfield. 1 goal in each of the 2 quarters.
So 4-4-28 plays 3-4-22 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 22.5 minutes gone second term. We're back in the middle again. Some scores around the grounds. Mitcham have tightened things up at Walker Park. They trail 5-3 to 7-5, Bowen leading. See if they can come back in the second half.
Just some scores from Div 1. Bayswater lead over Norwood 8-3-51 to 2-7-19. South Belgrave lead over North Ringwood 11-8-74 to 3-8-26. And Park Orchards lead over Mooroolbark 10-1-61 to 3-3-21.
Thanks there, Paul. Doing some scores around the grounds as well. Special comments this afternoon at Holm Park Reserve. Radio Eastland 98.1 FM or a Facebook and YouTube streaming. Let us know where you're watching in or tuning in from this afternoon. Tap down again for the Eagles. Here's Arts.
Hold on.
Jake Arts got the handball away. He's going to receive it again. Just gets past the tackle, puts it on the right boot and could hit up a target again. Couldn't quite find Jake Bowd. He does well to compete against 2 Hawks here. Trying to go through the legs of Harry Burgess. That's not going to work. And he's wrapped up in a tackle there. So inside 50 for the Eagles again.
Jake Bowd is finding a lot of space off the lead if he gets isolated with his man.
He's looked good early in this game. Here's Henry for the Hawks. Clearing kick out of defence. There's just Eagle numbers everywhere. And picking off there is Travis Stewart. Stewart to put this back in the Bowd direction. In fact, that's Johnston. Went the don't argue on the left boot. Now towards Bowd. Bounced off his head almost into the hands of Muley, who almost ran into an open goal. And well done to Jordan Church to be able to stop that on the last line of defence. And it's just a minor score. And that moves Beaconsfield to 4-5-29. Boronia 3-4-22. 24 minutes gone. Second term, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
And that back 6 of Boronia are under immense pressure at the moment.
So we're pushing on into time on here. It's Boronia, given some of the defensive miscues they've had, wouldn't hate going into halftime, only down 7 points at this stage. If the Eagles have failed to put them to the sword. And there's a ball up as Damon Fairchild looks a bit worse for wear temporarily, but he'll be all right to play on, and the umpire will
Back from Dallas this week.
Ball up. It's dedication to be playing same week as well as the Eagles looking to bring it out. Hands off to Kay Delarue. Looks to goal. And it's straight through. Terrific work out of the stoppage and for Kay Delarue to get a run straight forward and kick truly. Exactly what Beaconsfield would have wanted as we inch closer and closer to halftime. Scoreboard now reads Beaconsfield 5-5-35, Boronia 3-4-22.
Danger signs for Boronia here in the last 4 or 5 minutes of this quarter. They cannot leak another goal to the opposition.
Yeah, and that's 2 goals in time on for Beaconsfield. That was a lovely bit of play there by Beaconsfield there.
Delarue's been good this quarter.
Yeah, he's been very good.
Back in the side this week from VFL duties. So we get a ball up in the middle. We've played almost 26 minutes. Hannon back on the field. Josh got the tap down. Eagles have got some numbers in the middle here. Stewart, his kick was smothered. The fist forward picked off by Max Brasher. Big hit there on Edwards as Beaconsfield go forward themselves. Well done, Luke Flanagan off the half-back line. And hits up a target on the far side. It's Duncanson for the Hawks. Wouldn't want to concede another one, Boronia, before half-time, as his kick is intercepted by Brandon White. But Luke Hannon at least sees that over the line. So we'll get a boundary throw on far side. So approaching half-time here. Max Brasher. It's going to be picked off here by Brandon White in defence for the Eagles. And he'll go back to Doherty, all by himself. Deep in defence for the Eagles. He'll look to find Moat in front of Begley. He's got an option in De La Rue. And he'll look to exit the back half now, finding a target right in front of us, broadcast side. Here's Mounter. Looking to find Jake Bowd. If he can keep this in with the juggling, one-handed, tackled over the line by Burgess. We'll get a boundary throw in.
Just got some Premier scores quickly. Excuse me. Blackburn lead over Noble Park 9-4-58 to 7-5-47. Rowville lead 9-4-58 to Vermont 3-2-20. Donny East lead 5-6-36 to 4-6-30, and Eastland would lead 7-3-45 to Berwick 1-2-8.
So 27.5 minutes into this second quarter. As the ball is locked in, the Eagles forward 50. I think if there was only going to be one small score in this half of footy, it would be going Beaconsfield's way. The home side up 13 at the moment. After Boronia were able to draw it level. And going to ground length for the footy was Kieran Edwards, but it's now bodies dropping around it. So we'll have another ball up in the forward pocket.
Sorry, Chris, and just another score from Premier. Mitcham got back to 14 points. Baldwin lead 7-5-47 to Mitcham 5-3-33.
And Mike got a big leap in the ruck but couldn't take it, and then wraps up Kieran Edwards. So we'll have another ball up. Time keeps ticking as we get 28.5 minutes into the second term. As Josh Hannon back on the field after his yellow card again. Another tackle from
boundary.
Edwards. Let's go boundary side to Kate Green.
According to the timekeepers, there are about 14 seconds left.
All right, so Boronia need to make sure that they lock this in and don't concede as Myatt wins the tap. It's going to come out the hands of Jordan Church as Boronia look to go down the sideline. And that's going to be it for our first half of footy here and our Eastland men's match of the round. Beaconsfield 5-5-35. We've opened up a 13-point lead over Boronia. 3-4-22. As you look at our goal kickers for Beaconsfield, it's 2 to Jake Bowd, singles for Ethan Harris and Cooper Brown, and and also a single to Kay Delarue that makes a 5th, and for Boronia 2 to Josh Begley and the single to Charlie Lavender.
Half time here at Holm Park Reserve. Beaconsfield 5-5-35 leading Boronia 3-4-22 in Pat Cronin Foundation round. We'll be back in the second half for more action in the Eastland match of the round.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Do you want to study at the #1 sports science school worldwide? Study sport at Deakin and benefit from the most advanced sports facilities available, from running tracks to biomechanics labs, and decked out gyms to a climate chamber. Deakin have what you need to graduate ahead of the pack. Discover endless opportunities in sports science by visiting deakin.edu.au/sport. Deakin, proud sponsors of the EFNL.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Holm Park Reserve, Beaconsfield versus Boronia. It is Pat Cronin Foundation round, and at half-time it is the Eagles leading 5-5-35 to Boronia 3-4-22. But as we said, it's a big day for the EFNL, not just for us, but for quite a few leagues across Victoria. It's the Pat Cronin Foundation round, and joining me is Rob Bailey from the Pat Cronin Foundation round. Rob, thank you for giving up some time at halftime here to speak to us.
Thanks for the opportunity, and it's been a big day. We're here to award some medals to the most valuable players from each of the sides, and we talk to the players before the games and talk about violence is never okay. And the reception is fantastic. I must say that Beaconsfield, Troy has been an amazing host. And most enjoyable day. It's very tiring running around. I noticed I've done 16,000 steps. So
you've been all over the place.
Absolutely. Talking to a lot of people at the ground?
Yeah, we have. And I did have an offsider here for a while. I went around. And, for anyone that's interested that's still here, if they're listening, the posters are up, such as this one here, where they can actually do the QR code, and we'd invite you to make a donation. It's $10. There's a RAV4 that's up for raffle. And the foundation, in the last 2 or 3 years, we've educated 300,000 kids, and we've got another 85,000 to do this year. So every $10 educates a child. So it's fantastic. And poor Pat, it's been 9 years since Pat was killed, and we're thoroughly enjoying trying to educate the kids and get
like football clubs out here today.
Correct. And we invite schools to contact us to do presentations. We invite schools to contact us to do presentations. We're pretty much booked up for this year, but we'll fit them in for next year. Absolutely. And we've been in Perth and we've been in Queensland, so it's all around the place at the moment. It will be national in the end. We're a bit stretched at the moment, but we try and fit everyone in.
Yeah, certainly right. And the foundation itself and this round has just grown over the years. As you said, it's You looked at last year was our first league that we've been first year that we've been involved as the EFNL with Pat Cronin Foundation round, second year in a row. There's quite a few leagues that are involved. Even on that poster, you can obviously Northern, but the Essendon District, Bendigo Football Netball League, Western, Yarra Junior Football League. That must be really pleasing that it's really started to grow, and the awareness continues to build across all those leagues.
Yeah, look, correct, and look, it's going to expand to probably double that next year. And I think there's going to be some news with regard to AFL supporting us. I know Matt met with the league during the week, and I think there was some positive feedback from that. And look, it's a worthwhile cause, and I mean, we've had some really good feedback from all of the clubs that we've dealt with, particularly last year. I did the Western Districts last year, the Eastern Districts last year, and the feedback that we got from that was fantastic, and I'm assuming we'll get the same today.
Yeah, 100%, that's right, and it does look great on the camera with everyone wearing the yellow armbands, and we've seen that in previous years as well, and it's fantastic to see. And what are some of the questions you do get asked from someone come up to you, or some of the things you directly speak about when talking about Pat and his experience, and obviously then as well with the foundation and the awareness that they provide?
Look, most of the questions we get asked are particularly at the schools, is about bullying, and of course bullying leads to violence.
Yep.
And overcoming these sorts of things, social media plays a huge part, and I've been talking to a lot of people today about their children and whatever, and how they have access to social media, and we talk at the schools with regard to violence. Someone's always standing back and taking video of violence rather than stepping in and stopping it. So we're trying to change that attitude, and of course it's a big call. And the bullying is rife through the school, the young people's education process, and hopefully we can change that. But we're trying hard.
And Pat Cronin, for those who are listening in who aren't aware, tragically killed was a coward punch, and he was just not involved. He was helping a friend out.
Correct.
And from what I've heard, I didn't know him personally, but a really lovely person, and if it can happen to him, it can happen to anyone.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's 9 years since Pat was tragically killed, and it wasn't in a football game. He just went out socially. He hadn't even been drinking with his mates. And look, I'd like to mention that one of the things my colleague that was helping today, we're both retired Chief Inspectors of Victoria Police, and one of the things that we said specifically to the players was I and my colleague had to deliver death messages to families where tragically someone had been killed in their family, and that has an effect on the whole family for the rest of their life, and certainly did on me and my colleague. And I say to the players, how would you like to be at home and get that knock on the door at 2 o'clock in the morning to find that your brother or your sister or one of your best friends has been killed with a coward punch, which is exactly what happened to Pat. As you say, he was trying to get his friend and let's go home, and this particular offender walked up and hit him once. Now, Pat at that particular stage didn't think he was badly hurt, but of course a few hours later he was dead.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we try and say to people, if someone gets hit and you're with them, call an ambulance.
Yep.
Call 000. That's part of our presentation to the schools. If you're in it, don't be in any doubt, call 000, because those people can, the paramedics and whatever can identify if there's any issues.
Yeah, absolutely, and very important messaging. And if you do want to find out more, we've got stuff on our Facebook page, our website as well, and then I believe that across the grounds there's messaging that the club are providing at the moment. So that must be really pleasing that particularly and someone like a club like Beaconsfield have really got involved and been fantastic with this.
Absolutely, Troy has been fantastic, the best host, and I'm about to go into the rooms here and rip some money off the raffle for this.
That's what I'd like to hear. And before we let you go, for this game, the senior game, and we saw with the reserves presentation just before, there will be a medal for both sides as well.
Correct.
So for the best on ground for both teams.
Correct.
Absolutely. So that's fantastic to see. Rob, we really appreciate your time. It's a very important foundation, really important messages, and hopefully across the league people are learning about this a little bit more, and the awareness continues to grow.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you,
I
Rob.
love your broadcasts. So
I
watch them
appreciate
all
that.
the time. Okay.
Very much. Thanks, Rob. We're going to go to our halftime break here out at Holm Park Reserve. It's Beaconsfield 5-5-35, leading Boronia 3-4-22.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in, because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Hi, Dylan Dow from the Boronia Football Netball Club here. When I need to grab a quick coffee or a bite to eat, I'm popping into Eastland. Eastland's more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been a major partner of the EFNL since 2018. Cheers, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Holm Park Reserve. Half-time here between Beaconsfield and Boronia. It's the Eagles leading 5-5-35 to 3-4-22 Boronia. Thank you to Rob Bailey, who was very generous with his time at half-time from the Pat Cronin Foundation to be able to speak about the round itself, obviously what happened to Pat Cronin and the experience through his lens, and gave us a really good insight. And if you do want more information, make sure to check out our Facebook page as well as our website. He also alluded to the fact that there will be a medal for both teams this afternoon.
I think it was amazing just hearing the amount of kids that they've educated. Like he said, 300,000 and 80,000 more. And,
yep.
You know,
and that they're booked out pretty much for the entire year.
That's how unbelievable.
Yeah,
even at schools, like I went to Whitefriars, and I think every year we had someone come in and talk to us about that. So you can think about the amount of kids that go through that school alone.
Yeah, well, Whitefriars is a big school, isn't it? There's a lot of EFNL talent that come through Whitefriars. Kate Green on the boundary.
Whitefriars is 1,200 young gentlemen, and Pat Cronin was a Whitefriar. You know, Whitefriars is very much a big advocate for this program right from when it first established itself. So it's really great to hear those numbers, and only hopefully it grows. And I'm really keen to find out what the AFL connection is.
Yeah, that was a good sort of
wait
and see.
Well, yeah, that's one for next year, I think. Having a look at reading from what Rob was saying. But back here in the Eastland match of the round, the Eagles lead by 13 points, and Chris Cordis and Ray Baird was there watching the first half. Not to put it down on the contest, but a little bit slow to get going.
Yeah, a little bit slow to get going, but look, Beaconsfield, they're playing really smart football. But as I said earlier in the day, I saw them last week, and they're not going to kick the ball long in the forward line because they've got no tall forwards down there. And what they've been able to do, they've been able to get the Boronia backmen up the field, and then they slingshot over the top into the wide open spaces, and their forwards run onto them, and it certainly paid dividends today up until half time.
Yeah, certainly right. And that last goal was pretty key for them just because they did probably have a few chances earlier on in the term and missed a couple set shots, and then Boronia took the lead for a slight second. So important third quarter here for both teams, particularly the Hawks, to get back into control in this game. But of course, we've got all the scores around the grounds throughout this afternoon, which we'll certainly be keeping an eye on and seeing how that all plays out. But we're almost ready to go for the second half action at a Holm Park Reserve. And behind us, the rooms are getting certainly quite a few people coming through and having something to eat and a drink. They're very accommodating down here at Beaconsfield. So it's great to see, and I think they put on one of the best post-game feeds, don't they, Ray? From everything I've heard.
I believe so, yeah.
I haven't eaten today, so I'm looking forward to it. What's on the menu? They're about to get underway here for the third term.
Ryan, they do remember 2 years ago?
I can't remember. What did they have? I will save that conversation for later. We're about to get underway here, third term. And out of the middle again is Mellis. Couldn't quite possess it. Big tackle laid by Ryan White on Ethan Harris, and we'll get a ball up in the middle of the ground. First goal will be vital for the Hawks as Brasher, the handball over the top in towards their forward 50, picked off here by Hannon. Luke Hannon, right snap towards Begley and Robertson. Robertson almost getting possession of this one. It comes out of that pack, picked up by Begley. Towards the boundary line, it goes through the hands of Harris. And Damien Johnston there, tackled by Godwin over the line. So we get a boundary throw-in. 35 plays 22. 13-point lead to Beaconsfield coming into this third quarter. Any scores around the grounds, Paul, that has taken you notice?
Yeah, so at half time, Blackburn lead 9-6-60 to 7-5-47. Rover up by 38 points, 9-4-58 to 3-2-20. Baldwin lead 10-6-67 to Mitcham 7-4-46. Donny East lead 7-7-49 to South Croydon 4-9-33. And East Ringwood lead Berwick 7-4-46 to 2-2-14.
Thanks, Paul, as the Eagles look to escape their back half, but they're not getting far. They've pushed this out to about 60 metres out from the Boronia goals.
I have a score here. Heathmont 4-7-31, East Burwood 7-8-50.
Oh, Heathmont. I'll never tip them again if they lose today. They've made me look just silly.
I said in
every
pre-game they've been inconsistent so far this year.
Very much so, as Hannum wins it out of the ruck to himself. Got the handball cut off this time by Myatt. Bouncing footy on the far side. Controlled by Appleyard. He's well pressured by the two Mellises. And the ball going nowhere.
Another one, Waverley Blues 4-8-32, Croydon 5-3-33. Point in front.
Boundary.
So you got boundary side of Kate Green.
Ryan, didn't you say that last week about not tipping Heathmont this week?
Well, this time I'm serious.
It was sent forward by Josh Mounter. It's off the hands of Jake Mellis, and Boronia will look to repel now, going right up the corridor and just pumping a kill along. Standing under it is Brandon White. They just had numbers back, and one of them was Moat, who took the intercept mark comfortably and just found a short option in Devon Smith, who has options now, and we'll just go short once more to Jack Doherty. Doherty gives it back to Smith, who's got a bit of work to do to shrug off Jake Godwin, but he does so well. Back to Doherty. Now involved is Kay Delarue, who goes back out wide to Mowat, calling for a shorter option. Bowd was leading up. Kick was probably a bit too strong for that, and it falls in the hands of Tyler Stocko, who's tackled.
Gee, I tell you what, boys, I thought Delarue got away with one there with the distance he ran.
As the ball up just inside the forward 50. Stewart, big jump and big swing, but barely connected with the footy at all, as we'll have another ball up.
Ryan, here's another score which will surprise you. Mulgrave 4-6-30, Surrey Park 10-4-64.
And also in Divi 2, Ringwood lead against Swanee South 9-5-59 to 4-8-32.
As it's off the boot of, I believe, Stocko. It's a one-on-one battle here underneath the footy. Coming to assist was a Beaconsfield teammate in number 17, Ali's a giant. No one really able to pick it up yet. They get it out, and there's a free man there in Stewart, who just looks to centre the ball, but Boronia was set up well behind the footy and take the intercept mark. So a chance for the Hawks to slow it down now. As it's Josh Hannon's kick. Will find a teammate, and they go forward up the corridor now. Stooping below his knees was Godwin, but he couldn't take it cleanly as the Eagles look to bring it out and repel off hands. Still going here is a player as they go. Muat now has the footy looking forward, and a well-taken mark by that man Jake Arts, who can line up now on a 45-degree angle 30 metres out.
They're just working so well for each other today, Beaconsfield. There's always someone to handball to. There's always someone.
They're running in numbers, aren't they, Paul?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As Ethan Harris's work in the middle.
And almost at ease, I might add, because there wasn't a lot of Boronia numbers around there.
Yeah.
So it's Jake Arts, already has 2 goals on the season. So he lines up from 25 out and is hooked the kick, which is very uncharacteristic.
Forest Hill 5-7-37, Warrandyte 9-8-62.
Thanks, Fred. Back here at Holm Park Reserve, it's the Eagles leading 5-6 to 3-4. As Harry Burgess will take the kick in for Boronia. He'll just go long down the middle of the ground. Hannon's underneath this one. Punch from behind by White. And now De La Rue streaming inside 50 towards goal. And kicking the first of the third term. And stretching this margin out to 20 points. 6-6-42 Beaconsfield, 3-4-22 Boronia. And he's been a great inclusion this week back from Frankston.
Boundary.
Let's go down the boundary, Kate Green.
Boronia are looking a bit flat at the start of this quarter. I'm not quite sure why, but they're just coming across as quite flat.
So Kay De La Rue gets his second of the day from...
Another score, boys. Halfway through the third quarter, Churnside Park 6-9-45, Whitehorse 6-5-41.
Yeah, great turnover goal there. It was like pinball, just there a little bit from the kick in. It went back to Beaconsfield and through for a goal.
Josh Hannon sends it forward. There's a pack underneath the footy, as to be expected. It was off the hands of Begley. Around there is Brandon White. Getting to the footy first was Damon Fairchild, and the ball's going to find its way out of bounds. So we'll have a boundary throw in. He's kicked 2 goals from about dead in front. Kay De La Rue now on the edge of 50. Some kick.
In Divi 3, close one between Scoresby and Knox. Scoresby lead 4-10-34 to Knox 4-5-29.
The boundary throwing comes in more. It's in the ruck. It's going to fall to the hands of Brandon White. Wrapped up instantly. So we'll have another ball up. So we're in Boronia's forward pocket. The lead out to 20 points now for Beaconsfield as Luke Hannon did the ruck work but wasn't able to get a tap to it. Doherty's wrapped up now. The umpire will call for it once more. So Beaconsfield just making more use of their territory dominance at the moment, as this one's going to drop to Begley, who will look on the left foot for the snap, and it will go across the face of goals and hit the behind post. So it's out of bounds on the full. No score there for Josh Begley. He's got a goal in each quarter today, but not able to add to that tally or that trend. The ball will be brought back in by Ali Zajai.
So 7.5 minutes played, third term. Beaconsfield with the only goal in this quarter. Boronia will need a response soon if they're to win this game in what's been a pretty low-scoring game. And it's a great mark by Travis Stewart. And the kick is not so great. And it's picked off this time. It might actually, in fact, work out. They've got the numbers here. Stoko, handball in the middle of the ground. Almost went without it. Big tackle laid by Mellis, and it's a holding the ball free kick against Appleyard. Just fumbled it at the wrong time, Appleyard. They were out. And now a chance for Boronia. The kick towards the other side of the ground. Running onto this first is Stanley. Kieran Edwards, should I say. Snapped over towards Dower. Now here's Stanley in the pocket for the Eagles as that ball goes out of bounds. 8.5 minutes gone third term. 6-6 plays 3-4. Beaconsfield leading. Thanks for joining us, Radio Eastern 98.1 FM. We're on our Facebook and YouTube streams. This round 4 clash in Division 1. Ball will be brought back into play right in front of my Toyota Corolla. Looking healthy out there.
Could be a new RAV4 if you scan the QR code on Facebook.
Yes, that's right. As Lavender couldn't quite pick it up. White does. He's going nowhere because Hannon takes him down.
Is it the little one in behind
Yeah, it's
the
the one that
trainers
looks
there?
absolutely terrible.
The one that looks like it's only running on 2 cylinders.
And that ball again going nowhere. Art's wrapped up by White and another ball up. There's a RAV4 up for grabs up on Facebook. You can scan the QR code. All proceeds going to the Pat Cronin Foundation. White, get another stoppage.
So the ball's locked in the forward 50 of Boronia at the moment. Some 30 metres out, no real budge in any territory at the moment. As this has gone a real cagey here at Holm Park. As we'll have yet another ball up. 6-6-42 plays 3-4-22 to the Eagles, the home side. 20-point leaders at this stage as we're nearly 10 minutes into this third term. In the first ever meeting between these two sides after Boronia earned promotion, and it's Bowd putting the ball to the floor in a bounce, gets it to Delarue under pressure. And a lot of time offered there to Doherty. Too much time. Thought he could do too much with the footy, and Charlie Lavender's going to have a free kick. He's going to look to find a short chip out wide, and he gets it to Kieran Edwards. He's going to go back, but keep his eyes peeled in case there's someone, a teammate in a better position, because he'll be kicking this from quite a tight angle, only a few steps in from the boundary line.
Well, they just need a moment, something to spark him a little bit, and potentially that Lavender tackle might be something to get him going. This will be a tough kick. I don't know. Very tough angle.
Well, definitely takes something from Kieran Edwards here. He'll be kicking from about 40 out on quite the angle, and he's just got all the wrong parts of the ball there as it's out of bounds on the full and into the car park.
Not the easiest for a right footer either way.
Probably a bit worried about hitting Ryan's car as it went straight.
Mine's on the other pocket, right?
There was no chance of that.
It's probably a good thing if my car gets hit.
It's quite interesting now that the Beaconsfield player doesn't have to jump the fence and go get the footy.
Yeah, well, someone's going to go fetch it for Cade.
Just reminds me, you're saying that, it reminds me of the, I think a grand final we had at East Burwood one year. This guy's parked his Audi behind the goals. That's easily a few $1,000s worth of windscreen. Because it went.
Well, that was done by whoever left that there.
Insurance job.
Oh, yeah.
Delarue's finally got the footy back in his hands. Everyone had the chance to get a bit of a breather. So Delarue just testing his options, goes short into the hands of a teammate here in the back pocket, who looked central initially and is now pressured by Mellis, so he's forced to boot it wide underneath the footy. Nearly taking a one-handed grab was Josh Hannon, but he was held in the marking contest, so he's going to have the chance to have the footy here, Josh Hannon. It's very big in the first quarter, but picked up the yellow card in the second for a tackle. Hannon will now send it inside forward 50. We'll drop 20 out dead in front. Pack forming around it. Out the back, Robertson's around, and now applying pressure. And in the hands of number 20, Dylan Dower. He just went for the check side and couldn't quite get it right. So it will be Brandon White to bring us back into play after that minor score.
Eastland's very own Dylan Dower. As Brandon Wright, the kick in finds Doherty. The back pocket. Moving this ball down the line. Picked off by Begley. Shrugs off an opponent. Handball off to Lavender. Copped almost a high one. As we'll go around the grounds with Paul Uconi.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan. Things have got out of hand for Heathmont. East Burwood have got it out to a 43-point lead.
Wow.
They lead 11-9-75 to Heathmont 4-8-32.
So that'll be East Burwood's first win if they continue to hold on there, as Beaconsfield looking to clear this out of their defensive half. Been under a fair bit of pressure, but they've held up nicely, not conceding one in this First 13 minutes of the quarter. Church with the free kick here for the Hawks. He'll pop it in the direction of Godwin. Almost a good mark competing against the two Eagles, but it's out of bounds again. So boundary throw in, 13 and a half minutes gone, third term around the grounds.
3/4 time out at Jubilee Park, and Wani South are working their way back into it. They've got it back to 16 points. Ringwood lead 9-6-60 to Wani South 6-8-44.
Boundary throw in, the ball towards the boundary, picked up by Wex. The clean handball off to Hannon. Right boot, forward it goes. Might just clear everyone's head and towards the boundary line. Someone got a fist to it. A Beaconsfield defender. Free kick has been awarded. And they'll look to play on through Brown straight away. To De La Rue. A dangerous handball. Got Arts. Pressured by Lavender. And he's clean with it. In fact, he's not. It's a turnover right in the hands of Zach Dower, who can have a set shot from inside. He'll play on straight away. He's got Mellis. Couldn't quite hit him on the chest. Bouncing footy. And they're going to mop this up through Arts. To Zijai. And they've got a player out here. It's all by himself, is Muley. He's got Henry chasing him. Takes a bounce. He's got a second bounce. He's going to walk into a goal here. Muley takes a third and puts it through. A little bit of a worry with that third bounce, but it was fine. And Beaconsfield end to end get their 7th of the day, 7-6-48 to 3-4-22. Let's just watch the third bounce on the replay. The Eastland almost just lost it, and that would have been an absolute disaster. But
boundary.
He's able to manage to put it through for their 7th of the day. Kate Green on the boundary.
I'd like to vote that as my goal of the day.
Well, we haven't had too many goal of the day contenders. The Tobin brothers goal of the day, and I guess that maybe is the leader.
That goal, that was true to what's happened all day. Once again, they moved the back line, then up the field, Boronia, and over slingshot over the top and run into the open.
That is frustrating for Boronia. They had control of the footy for about 10 minutes, did not kick a goal.
And they had it in the forward 50
How often do you
as well.
see that, though?
So they're just getting outclassed a bit at the moment, Boronia, as Beaconsfield are doing well to defend home turf in the first ever meeting between these two great sides. It's taking place in Division 1 now as the footy's out the back for Boronia. Church has his work cut out for him. He's wrapped up in a tackle. So they'll have a ball up.
Boundary.
Go boundary side to Kate Green.
Boronia need to stop hitting the ball towards clumps. They've got the whole field. They need to move it out rather than just aiming for a whole bunch of players. They've got ones on the side and they're not looking for them.
When we heard at quarter time, Coach Matt Clark said he wanted to chain up with handballs more, and maybe that message has been lost in translation because it doesn't look like they've been doing it as...
High tackle.
It's a high tackle as Mellis. Gee, a bit of a hospital hand pass, but if there's any player that's going to get out of that situation well, it's Mitch Mellis. Averaging 30 and a half disposals so far this season across 2 games, and I would not be surprised if he was up near that mark again as it's tapped by Mounter. Looking to get around it was Godwin, and he's applying the pressure in the tackle. There's going to be a ball up in the forward 50 for Boronia.
Chris, I've got to get you to explain to me what a hospital pass is.
It's just, you give a handball to a guy that's got nowhere to go and he's just going to get crunched, Kate.
Thank you.
It's a pass that'll put him in the hospital if he gets to him. So wrapped up in the tackle there. Well, Mitch Mellis has got a few of those today, actually, but standard and quality of player like that is going to get out of those situations more often than not. As Jake Arts is another one of those players who now brings it out looking wide for Johnston, who's got time on the footy, afforded a lot of time for a player of his calibre, and just steps inside after a few head fakes. Goes looking for Bowd. It's off the hands of Muley. And the ball's dropped out. Handball over the back from Burgess. Stocko gets it going back forward. Burgess applying the tackle back to Stocko. Stocko sends it in forward 50. Flying for the footy, and I believe taking the mark is Ethan Harris, who's already got a goal for the day and did well to take the contested mark there. It's Luke Hannon on the mark, who's not a small guy or a short guy by any means. And they'll look inside 50 now. Bowd was a leader. They've got numbers around it. Begley's there. Around the ball more perhaps now as Boronia need to get a foothold in this game. So Josh Begley in the defensive 50 as Moat does the ruck work, and it's going to be a tackle wrapped up straight away.
And I mean, as I said before, like Beaconsfield have been running in numbers, so Boronia have got nowhere to go.
So it's been brought to ground. Johnson couldn't quite take it cleanly. Stocko at the back, couldn't get the footy to him. Dives on it now. Wrapped up in the tackle is Luke Hannon. So we're 18.5 into this third quarter. 25-point lead for Beaconsfield, very much in the driver's seat. Nothing to look to that now as Mueller got the handball off. Peels for a free kick, fall on deaf ears.
3-quarter timeout at Mulgrave, and Surrey Park lead by 23 points. Surrey Park 11-6-72 to Mulgrave 7-7-49.
It's big so far for the Panthers as Johnson couldn't quite get what he was intending as Jordan Church sends it wide in the direction of Damon Fairchild, and his Fairchild pursued by Lund. Gets wide, but has gone out of bounds in the meantime.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's a lot easier to see from where they are than compared to where we are.
Looked fine to me.
And Croydon have got it out to a 19. They only kicked one goal in the first half. They've kicked the last 8 in a row, and they lead 9-4-58 to Waverley Blues 5-9-39.
So back here, Beaconsfield leading by 26 points under a bit of pressure, and KD LaRue cops one high. Oh, sorry, Hare, in fact, from Boronia. So Hare now looking for a targeting. Godwin, did he have enough of it? Umpire said no, and now almost could be in a bit of trouble, but I thought he had that too.
And also, South Croydon have hit the front against Donny East. They lead 11-59 to Donny East 8-7-55.
So we'll keep an eye on that one as Johnston, the handball, not really effective. Dower, Stoko in game number 100. Ball falls out of the pack and Brasher gets it off to Lavender. Goes to Jake Mellis. Uses Max Brasher again inside 50. Godwin again. Oh, just overdid the kick. Brandon White's there to mop this one up. Off the left boot. Dangerous kick. It doesn't find his target in Mounter. And they're under a lot of pressure, but De La Rue's been clean. And he'll clear this one out, and it might work out perfectly. Finding Bro. Couldn't quite pick it up on the first grab, but second grab, he was able to get this forward. And Jake Arts, bouncing ball, made him wait for it for a little bit, but he's got runners in the midfield. And he's going to use it as they go forward. Bouncing footy inside, looking for Muley. Kicked the last goal in this game. Picked off by the Hawks in Church. And Hannon wrapped up in a tackle. 21 minutes gone, third term. 3-5-23 Boronia. 7-6-48 Beaconsfield. 25-point lead. Been a long time since Boronia's last goal. No one goes up for the ruck for the Hawks. Brasher trying to clear the pack. Picked off by Stoko in game number 100. And his kick intercepted by Jordan Church.
So I'll look wide now with the Hawks as we're into time on in this third term. Boronia needs something. They need something quick as this lead has gotten out to 25 points for Beaconsfield. As White will get the handball off. He's been absolutely massive so far for his side as that kick fell just short, but just had enough to get around the back as Jordan Church is around the footy and is wrapping up his opponent in Josh Mount. So we'll have a ball up just inside the boundary line on that far side wing, just next to the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, which reads Beaconsfield 7-6-48, Boronia 3-5-23. As it's come off hands now, no real winner of the footy, but it was excellent work there from Ethan Harris to get it out to Johnson. Puts out an arm, bit of a stiff arm, gets it back to Ethan Harris, who looks inside, bounds around, and it's going to drop out the back. A chance now. What's he going to do? Oh, look to shake and bake, but tripped over himself was Hayden Bro there. Just lost his footing a bit. And we'll have a boundary throw in Beaconsfield's forward pocket. So a chance for the Eagles to really put themselves in the driver's seat. They already are, but if they can extend this league on in three-quarter time would be massive as Jake Mells had it, dropped it, incorrect disposal, and he's a chance for Beaconsfield to just do that.
Well, Jake Art's probably having a similar set shot around this spot of the ground too, so we'll see if he's learned his lesson. The ex-Tiger, Chris?
Your man.
Yeah, my man.
One of your men. So, Arts will be lining up Slightly less than a 45-degree angle. The kick will come from around 38 metres out or so. As Arts, who has quite the footballing resume, back to Beaconsfield for the first time since 2017. Strolls in and throws it on the boots, and it looks good. Does it have the carry? Yes, it does. So there's the goal that Jake Arts has been waiting for today. Takes his tally to 3 on the season and pushes Beaconsfield's lead out to 31 points now as we're into time on in the third term.
You have a look at the inside 50s for this quarter. It's 11 to Boronia and 8 to Beaconsfield. So Boronia's had a lot of the football inside their forward 50, but they haven't been able to hit the scoreboard.
No, they haven't. And this game's starting to slip away from them now, 31 points. They have not lost a game since round 6 last year, which was also the broadcast game against Croydon.
Yeah.
It's the last time they've had a loss, obviously in a new division this year, and first time meeting Beaconsfield. Brasher out of the midfield. Towards the other wing again, picked up by Edwards. The handball off to Fairchild. Might be able to receive it again. Picked off this time by the Eagles, and then they'll link up through Smith. Big tackle laid by White. And a high free kick.
Yeah, that was there. That was there.
I don't know. Savoyard picks up.
Put in the call to the umpires.
He'll go back to White. Brandon White, that is.
Is our fearless leader questioning the umpires?
No, I'm not.
And the rest of us.
No. There's Connor Mowat in the back pocket here for the Eagles. His kick just hits his target. And Ethan Harris has been good this afternoon. And he's kicked towards the boundary line. Touched over the line there by Cooper Brown. So we'll get a boundary throw in far side. 25 minutes played third term. 8-6-54 Eagles. 3-5-23 Boronia.
So Beaconsfield up 31 points. And who do we all tip?
Boronia.
Beaconsfield, I think. I tip the Eagles.
That's why you pick one each, Ryan. Anyway, the ball's been thrown in from the boundary. Stewart doing the ruck work. Falling on it was Jordan Church. Seems like every time he calls his name, he's laying a tackle on someone. So he's one of the Hawks that can hold their heads high.
When was Boronia's last goal? 7-minute mark, second quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
I haven't
you're right.
kicked one in this term, so it sounds about right as Johnson got hands to the footy. Somehow got it out to Stewart, who's gotten up the line. It's a 2v2 now, but very well taken intercept mark from Harry Burgess. So Burgess, the skipper, looks to repel, sends it straight up the corridor. Getting a bump from behind was a Boronia player and awarded a free kick for it. As the three-quarter time siren goes, scoreboard reads Beaconsfield 8-6-54. Opening up a 31-point lead on Boronia, 3-5-23 as the Hawks look shaky as ever here. Goal kicker so far for the Eagles, 2 to Jake Bowd, 1 to Jake Arts, 1 to Charlie Muley, 1 to Ethan Harris, 1 to Cooper Brown, and 2 to Kay Delarue for Boronia. There is the 2 to Josh Begley, 1 to Charlie Lavender.
And that is three-quarter time out here at Holm Park Reserve. Beaconsfield 8-6-54, leading Boronia 3-5-23. We've got 1 quarter to play in the Eastland match of the round. We'll take our final ad break here before we jump into the final quarters of action and take a look at all the scores around the grounds this afternoon.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. Let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency
People than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Holm Park Reserve. It is three-quarter time here in Beaconsfield lead Boronia 8-6-54 to 3-5-23. A 31-point lead at the final change, and they were able to extend that from their two-goal lead at half-time. And we'll hear from Mick Fogarty down at ground level in just a moment. But let's go around the grounds first, I think, because, Paul, there's some interesting results. The Heathmont one's a bit of a surprise. East Burwood look like they're on their way for their first win. But what else has stood out to you around the grounds this afternoon?
So in Premier, Rowville lead three-quarter time by 41 points over Vermont, 10-5-65 to Vermont 3-6-24. Blackburn lead 12-10-82 to Noble Park, 8-7-55. Baldwin lead 12-9-81 to Mitcham, 9-5-59. South Croydon lead 9-12-66 to Donny East, 9-8-62. And East Ringwood lead, but only by 4 goals against Berwick, 8-4-52 to Berwick and 4-4-28 in Division 1. Bayswater lead 13-7-85 to Norwood, 3-10-28. South Belgrave lead 15-14-104 to North Ringwood, 8-10-58, and Park Orchards lead 14-5-89 to Moorbark, 6-7-43 in Division 2. Croydon lead 9-4-58 to Waverley Blues, 5-9-39. East Burwood lead 11-10-76 to Heathmont, 6-8-44. Surrey Park lead 11-6-72 to Mulgrave, 8-7-55, and Ringwood lead 10-6-66 to Wanney South, 7-11-53.
Thanks, Paul. All those scores around the ground. What stood out to you are those scores? Rape? What?
My roughie for the week, I picked Berwick and the roughie. They're only 3 goals down against East Ringwood, so there's still a chance, Ryan.
And this game here as well. Sorry, Paul.
So I've just got some more scores, if that's okay. Close one between Upper Gully and the Basin. Upper Gully lead 7-9-51 to the Basin, 6-7-43. Donvale are doing it comfortably over Ferntree Gully, 15-9-99 to Ferntree Gully, 5-4-34. Fair Park lead over Sylvan, 9-11-65 to Sylvan, 8-13-61. Oakley District doing it comfortably, 12-9-81 over Coldstream, 7-3-45. And an inaccurate Scoresby lead, 5-16-46 to
Boundary.
Knox, 4-6-30.
We've got Kate Green and she's got Mick Fogarty with her.
Mick, pretty good 3 quarters so far. You mentioned, we'll keep walking off just so we don't get, you mentioned in the huddle that you're really happy with how the guys have been tightening up on stoppages. Yeah. Can you explain that more, and what are you going to do with that moving forward?
Yeah, look, I think Boronia all day have owned the outside at stoppage, where we've just been caught getting drawn to the contest, too many of our players, and we have to hold out and let one of our guys go for that footy and nominate who it is, and then just hold out, so our other mids are holding out, making sure that if we win it, we get overlap. If they win it, we've got protection. That's what I mean. Yeah.
You also praised your backs for having great representation down there and great pressure. Your backs have really held up this game. You also mentioned that for the guys to have another outlet at the contest. Can you just expand on that a bit more?
It's just getting that extra number around the contest. That high half forward comes up, creates an extra number for us, and hopefully we can win that stoppage.
Thanks very much, Mick. All the best.
Thanks there to Kate and Mick Fogarty. Speaking well at 3/4 time, Mick, and they'll be very happy with that third term as they get into the final quarter here, leading by 31 points.
Just quickly, some Div 4 scores. Close one between Churnside Park and Whitehorse. Churnside Park leads 7-11-53 to Whitehorse 6-5-41.
Stocko in his 100th game got the ball forward, but only as far as Tyson Henry's doing the defensive work for the Hawks. Around it once more is Jordan Church, who's got the footy now on the far side wing, looking down the line, finds a teammate in Fairchild. Fairchild will look to centre it again, and they've got numbers through the middle as Mellis has the ball. If they can switch it, Kieran Edwards is out wide on himself, but they look to go forward more directly to Hannon. That was Luke. As he goes forward once more, and it's a Brandon White with a bit of contact there that was deemed illegal, so it's Ryan White. White v White as Ryan White wins out and now has the ball, just looking for a bit of a centering ball as he'll chip it, looking for the lead of Ben Robertson, who's been kept quiet all day today, but has finally got himself on the footy.
Well, you never know if the first one goes through. Potentially, you can see a bit of momentum shifting, but they've got a lot of work ahead of them.
And it takes one to get it started as Ben Robertson, 7 goals on the season so far. At least is his first shot at today. As he'll kick from about 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle. So he walks in. So it's Robertson to get the first of the quarter for Boronia, and he's hit the post. He's hit the post. That's a big miss by not a lot at all. So Boronia with a minus score. It's now a 30-point game. Brandon White will bring it out and he just looked to pump one ball down the line. Flying for it was a few plays, falling into the hands of Damien Johnson for the Eagles, who goes backwards to Arts. Arts centering ball, and it's inch perfect, just like it needed to be. And now the Eagles can get a bit of run. They go through to White, who's been absolutely mega so far in this game. White steps over a tackle, gets it back wide in the middle, I should say, to Delarue. Looks for the lead up of Charlie Muley, and it's almost like traffic cones out there. That was about as easy as you can get from Beaconsfield.
You picked it, Chris. That was just practice there, practice. So easy. Matt Clark would be really disappointed with the side, what the performance they're putting up at the moment. They're better than that. They've got to lift themselves.
And it just took 1 or 2 accurate kicks coming out of defensive 50 for the Eagles to really unlock that Boronia defence, as it will be Muley. Kicking from about 45, kicks from 50, actually not much of an angle, but he's pulled it wide, so a bit of a let off for the Hawks.
The other thing that Mick Foley Fogarty said at quarter time was for the guys to use the whole ground, which is something that Beaconsfield has been effective with, but at some times during the game it actually drops off.
Oh, dangerous kicking, but works out okay. Flanagan takes the mark. Looks like from here it might be picked off. Flanagan. Short kick finds Church. We go back to Flanagan. Flanagan's kick finds Dower. Dylan Dower has a one-on-one centre wing, and Damon Fairchild was able to win out, taking the mark. He's been solid in his return as Charlie Lavender tried to jump over Cade De LaRue. And De LaRue, who's been one of the best on, goes back to White, who's also been one of their more influential plays today. Beaconsfield finds Stewart. The handball to White. Down the line, Johnston has given away the free kick here to Mitch Mellis.
Yeah, it was probably there. Just a little shove with his shoulder at the wrong time.
So 4 minutes into this last quarter. 7:55 Beaconsfield, 3-6-24 Boronia on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Can the Hawks, have they got anything left in the tank to make this a bit of a contest, as that ball punched over the line? And well done there by White Murat to spoil that out of bounds around the grounds. Paul, you've got some scores?
In Div 2, Mulgrave have got it back to 12 points. Surrey Park lead 11-8-74 to Mulgrave 9-8-62. And Wani South have got back to 11 points. Ringwood 10-7-67 to Wani South 7-14-56.
Thanks, Paul. As the ball brought back into play, Hannon tapped it down. The numbers here might work out for the Eagles. Art's got a hand to it. Here's Mellis. Wrapped up by that man, Jake Arts, and holding the ball.
Yeah.
Jake Arts. What have you thought of Jake Arts' game today?
Well,
As he gives a supporter there a bit of a look.
Well, I've got him in my best 3 at the moment.
He's been good. Former Tiger. So Arts down the line. He'll fly for this one. Bowd got it down. Here's Stoko. It's a one-on-one inside 50. Muley pushing past his opponent. Bounce off the top of his head. He'll finish up with the ball anyway. Henry comes in there to compete. Socket off the ground. Dangerous spot here for the Hawks. Picked up by Dower. Almost went without it. And good pressure here from Zijai. Got the handball off to a teammate who goes backwards. And having a shot on goal here to put the dagger into Boronia. He misses 8-8-56 Beaconsfield. 3-6-24 Boronia. Coming up to 6 minutes gone final term.
Sylvan have hit the front against Fair Park. They lead 10-17-77 to Fair Park 9-11-65.
So the margin stands at 32 points. Boronia have only kicked 24 today in what's been pristine conditions and a pristine playing surfaces. The kick in has gone over its intended target and into the hands of Ethan Harris, who's wrapped up into a tackle. So if the Hawks want to take anything out of this game, they need to go, and they need to go quickly. They've got some defending to do here as Muley wins the hit out. It's only as far as the hands of Tyson Henry. So we'll have another ball up 30 metres out dead in front of the Boronia uprights. As it will be Hannon in the ruck, tapped down to Arts. His handball was smothered. Stoko there. We'll have another ball up. No real territory movement at all. As the ruck's go out once more, Hannon just grabs out of the ruck. Gets a bit of a stubby kick on the right boot, but it works out somehow. As now they're looking to bring it out through Max Brasher, who has a bounce. Handballs over, looking at the top, looking for Nathan Hare, who gets it and tucks it under and runs a bit. Here's the Hawks that we know as Begley gets it forward. Terrific pressure from Beaconsfield, though, as it's been all game. Anything Boronia have, they're right there to meet them as they're looking to bring it out now through White, who just drops it onto the right boot. And now a tap looking for Johnston. Didn't quite work out as Beaconsfield can still go through the middle now if they persevere, and they'll do just that, but they've turned it over via hands, and here's Lavender. Stepped inside, got absolutely hunted down there as Arts gets a handball over the top to Stoko in his 100th game, and he's got a man out the back but goes more shallow. He's not going to get there. It's out to Jordan Church. It's had a terrific game for the Hawks so far, and he's looking out wide. Gee, somehow not had eye contact there with the free kick. As stepping inside was Josh Mounter. There's a couple plays down there after that collision. As Charlie Muley's around the footy now, just on the arc of the forward 50, and a ball up will be called.
Both players saw after that one as he might be held up a little bit. Or both coming off the ground now.
Lucky it was close to the interchange bench.
I think that's Hayden Stanley coming off.
So love another
Boundary.
ball up. As we go boundary side to Kate Green.
Correct. They're Ray Stanley for Boronia and Harris for Beaconsfield.
So we'll have another ball up just inside the boundary line here in Beaconsfield's forward pocket. As the ball's dropped to the deck, no one really able to get it out, but there's Mitch Mellis, wrestled to the ground. Gets another disposal. What do we reckon he's at so far?
Who's that, Mitch?
Mitch Mellis.
He started the game off very well, but I think they've shut him out since half-time.
Yeah, I still think he's probably still had his 30.
Yeah, but he
probably hasn't had the influence he usually
They're
does.
not effective, though, are they?
He hasn't been effective.
As balls dropped around it was Appleyard, couldn't quite get there. Mellis will fly for the footy, couldn't take it cleanly. Applying the tackle was Kieran Edwards. And he's going to get rewarded for it as Begley's on the footy now and looks forward. Brandon White's in a foot race with Fairchild, who's going to run out, who's going to sit up for White, who looks down the line and finds a man wide open who can just turn and go and just does just that. As the kick was to the lead up of Bowd, who's let it go over the back and handballs it here to Jake Arts, who's going to run in and kick his third of the afternoon. Or second of the afternoon, I should say, for Jake Arts, number 3.
Yep.
As Beaconsfield now surely put this game to rest, as the Bendigo Bank scoreboard reads Beaconsfield 1962, Boronia 36-24.
Look, Boronia did the right thing, I suppose, kicking it to the wide open spaces up there. But look, Brandon White was just too quick.
He's been, again, and you know what you're going to get from him every single week, Paul?
Back to Division 3, a final score from Upper Gully as Upper Gully have got up by 9 points over the Basin, 8-10-58 to the Basin, 7-7-49, and Fair Park are back in front against Sylvan. They lead 11-12-78 to 10-17-77.
Okay, 1 point.
So back in the middle here at Holm Park Reserve, it's all but over. Beaconsfield are going to get their second win of the season. And out of the middle is Dower. Underneath this Moat, fell through his hands. Begley's out the back. Made a contest out of this one. Tries to get past a couple. Mounter picked it up for the Eagles. Wrapped up by Brasher. Coming up to 11 minutes gone, fourth term. 9-8-62, plays 3-6-24.
Final score from Division 2. Ringwood have got up by 10 points.
10-8-68
to Wanney South. 7-16-58.
Again, good luck tipping in Division 2 at the moment. As the Eagles clear this one out, Jake Mellis, the flight of the ball, picked up that time by Appleyard for the Eagles. Towards the middle of the ground, the ball goes. Godwin will grab this one. Went to pass it off to Lavender, but slipped over at the wrong time. Johnston, Dower got the handball forward, slipped through the hands of Mellis that time. Brasher to Lavender. Lavender in the direction of Robertson in front position. He had his jumper held, picked off by Begley. Crum in goal. And one back for the Hawks. 4-6-30 Boronia. 9-8-62 Beaconsfield. Begley has his second. Or third, should I say.
Third, yeah.
So he's kicked 3 of the 4 goals today for the Hawks.
Yep.
And that's it. No discussion of the goal.
Yeah, okay, right. That was only Boronia's third inside 50 for the quarter. You know.
Well, they've been outplayed today by a Beaconsfield side who's been certainly hungry for a win and a bit of a welcome to the division for Boronia.
Yeah, but that was probably Boronia's best play of the day there. You know, it was a nice chain of handballs and an open inside 50, and they get their 4th goal.
So plays restarted here as Hannon wins the ruck contest. That was Josh, and it's out through the hands of Beaconsfield's Brown now as they work it forward through Zajai. Waiting for a target, but it's bounced out the back, and here's Johnson. The skipper looking to get himself on the scoreboard, throws it on the right boot around the corner. A few fly for it as it's dropped short around it is Bowd, who handballs it over the top, was looking for Appleyard, just couldn't quite get the flight of it as Appleyard is trying to wriggle free and can't quite do so.
Boundary.
So go boundary start to Kate Green.
Boronia are coming across quite flat. They're quite subdued in the coach's box, but they just seem like they've run out of puff.
I think they've just conceded.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's almost damage control at this stage as we go to Paul Yukoni.
Donny East are back in front against South Croydon in a tight one there. They lead 10-10-70 to South Croydon 9-12-66.
I need that tip too. There's answers around the footy. And Hannon's going to apply the pressure.
Harsh, Chris. Harsh.
Thank goodness Josh gave me a buffer at the start of this season because I think I struggled last week. But anyway, the Rucks will go at it again. It's in the hands of Johnson, who just gets it onto the boot. Appleyards around it. Boronia looking to bring it out, and there's Mitch Mellis. Who else but Mitch Mellis as he takes a second bounce, a third bounce, still going Mitch Mellis as he'll take him all on by himself nearly. Looks in behind for a teammate and puts the kick perfectly for Fairchild, who I think has just done a hamstring. As he's pulled up, and I think it's mowed around the footy, and the umpire's going to call for it. He looks all right now, Damon Fairchild, but pulled up a bit after that kick.
Where's that intensity been for the last half an hour?
As Fairchild is just jogging himself over to the bench, so that might have actually been the string gone. As we hope it's not, obviously, but play will resume as Cade Delarue can't quite get to the footy. We'll have a boundary throw in Boronia's forward 50. I was waiting for the ball to be brought back into play with 14 gone in this final term. Beaconsfield dominating with a 32-point margin. As the ball has been thrown in, and Begley's doing the ruck work for a change. It's in the hands of Moat. Or Moat, I should say, looking to bring it out of the Eagles. Stoko's around it. Can't quite bring it out himself, so Luke Hunnan's fallen on the foot as we got a Paul Coney.
Surrey Park look home against Mulgrave. They lead 13-9-87 and Mulgrave 9-8-62.
So it's in the hands of Jake Arts, who just gets a belly. The ball goes straight up. It's not going to quite go out, but Johnson looked to punch it over the boundary line and just fresh aired it, but it's made its way there anyway.
Look, we've been going 15 minutes in this quarter, and Boronia still needs 6 goals to win, which they needed at three-quarter time.
Well, Boronia have kicked 2
Game
since
over.
quarter time, so complete shutout here from Beaconsfield as Stewart's in the ruck. And he's been one of those silent contributors who's been very good today, using his mobility well as Johnson's around the footy. Just looking for Arts with the handball. It's gone out of bounds just in front of us.
Boundary.
Let's go down the boundary, Kate Green.
Ray, there is a lot of small positives that Boronia can take from this game and then just learn from it.
Without a doubt, Kate.
Well, you're right, because they haven't faced this sort of opposition for quite a long time. And there's a free kick. There's advantage. I'm not sure if that's coming back. It is coming back, so
I think
Dower's kick's going to come back to Tice Henry.
Was it just a short throw-in by the umpire? It didn't seem to go the distance.
Boundary, it did go to the distance, Lee.
Well, there you go, Lee.
Okay, I've been told. I'm only looking on little screens. Everyone else has got the bloody big screens around me.
It's going to go in the direction of Mitch Mellis, who has a short option in his brother Jake. Picked off by Stoko. The handball over the top, and that's going to be a free kick. It's advantage towards the Eagles. It's against Mellis. And
that's a yellow card. Yellow card.
There's a bit going on here in the middle of the ground. It looks like Mitch is going to...
Bit of biff here too.
Oh, and it's going to be advantage. Are they going to be allowed to play that on? Jake Arts wanted to. Back on the action here, where a lot of feeling now. There was a couple of late hits and...
They called the whistle because basically both umpires are caught up trying to stop this.
So...
Mellis with the yellow
These
card.
two sides have never played each other before, but they'll certainly remember this.
Been a lot of feelings
won't they?
today, hasn't there?
Next.
I'm sure they were just in that scuffle, just saying, welcome to the division,
Boundary, yellow card is for Boronia's number 2, Mitch Mellis.
There's Boud coming back here. Will put the Eagles back towards their half-forward line. Great mark standing in front there. That was against Burgess, who lets out a sigh of frustration.
Muley, he's
Charlie
been very
Muley.
good. He's been good down forward for them today.
He has, and he'll put this towards the top of the square. If the mark can be taken from the side by Stewart, not quite. Church wants to clear this out. That might have come off someone's hand as well as it bounces out of bounds. 18 minutes gone, final term.
Sorry, Ryan. Donny East have got the margin out to 16 points. They laid 12-10-82 to South Croydon, 9-12-66.
And certainly here, as you said for Boronia, it's a bit of a learning curve for them. They haven't had a loss like this. I don't know the last time they'd only kicked 4 goals in a game. I don't know if someone can quickly do the math on that one.
I think that was about 2 years ago, Ryan.
They did score 48 against 47 against Ringwood in 23. As White through the midfield. Takes on his opponent and able to get it away to Robertson. Robertson just hasn't got too many options ahead of him, so he has to wait. And now he's got White, who's worked hard to get into this position, who takes the mark and is in his right to go back and have a set shot from here.
I think they kicked 36 points last year against Croydon, but I think that was a win. So that was just a really wet afternoon there.
Oh, yes, good point. Jeez, your memory's good.
Paul
is White hits up Max Brasher. You're right. That was a win. That was a terrible weekend.
Paul, you're the guru.
Photographic memories. Remembers that one well, as Max Brasher will be kicking from about 45 metres out. Had a bit of the footy Max today.
But he's actually been more quiet than what he usually is in games, though.
As Max comes in, bit of an angle. Looking for Boronia's 5th of the day to grab a kick in the end, and in defence, the mark is taken by Connor Moat, who's had quite a bit of the footy himself, Chris.
Exactly right, as Mullet will be bringing the footy out of defensive 50 now with this dumping kick that would just make the distance. Couple of hands in the back of Stewart, umpire agrees. A lot of these Boronia fans don't, but it was right in front of them, so that kick would be turned over, not quite, as the ball just wouldn't go for Jake Mellis, as Beaconsfield are going to go outside the wing
Paddock.
to Harris now. He's just going to send it forward. 1v1 in there is Muley, who gets it out the back, got 2 hands to it now. Scrappy footy. Muley picks it up, dumps it off to Zajai, who's taken cleanly in a tackle by Jake Mellis. And he's rewarded for it.
In Premier, East Ringwood only lead by 3 goals against Berwick, 10-5-65 to 7-5-47 just before 3/4 time.
Got the Blackburn score there, Paul?
Berwick, East Ringwood.
All right. So we'll be brought out from Boronia.
And sorry, just quickly, a final score from Mitcham Baldwin. Baldwin have got their first win of the year. They win by 38 points over Mitcham.
Oh, so that one ballooned out a bit as Muley's around the footy, can't quite get to it. The don't argue came from Godwin, who gets it forward to a teammate in Flanagan. And they're working it forward now, the Hawks, albeit under pressure. And there's a Beaconsfield jersey. It seems that every time Boronia have locked up.
They've got White calling for it in the middle, but he's not looking this way.
As De La Rue sends it forward, it was a kick that took great distance and it's dropped out now to Hannon. That was Joshua Hannon as they look to come out through Harry Burgess, the skipper, who's wrapped up in a tackle. And excellent pressure from Beaconsfield. It seems that every time Boronia look to get something going, there's a yellow and blue jumper on top of him straight away. So we're into time on here as Stewart rises highest and wins the hit out. Still scrappy footy though as Hannon was reaching below his knees. Arts kick around the corner, didn't quite pull it back enough, but it will fall short, so Muley will make a contest and we'll go boundary side to Kate Green.
It's become very quiet on both sides, with both teams' supporters being extremely quiet for the last few minutes.
Yeah, probably got a little bit lively in the little scuffle before, but after that it's been pretty quiet as we go around the grounds, Paul.
Final score from that Sylvan Fair Park game, and heartbreak for Fair Park as Sylvan get up by 5 points, 11-17-83 to Fair Park 11-12-78.
So unfortunately for Fair Park, they still remain winless in Division 3, but that's a much better result after some tough few weeks as the balls will be brought back for the Hawks. Josh Hannon, as he'll look to clear this one out. Max Brasher again. He's got White running past. Got plenty of space in front of him. Looks to use the corridor. The kick almost worked out for Lambda. It's picked off here by Johnston, and they go inside 50 again. And it's a push from Hayden Bro in the back. So free kick going to Hannon.
Score from Seabeck Oval. Roval 14-8-92. Vermont 6-8-44.
Thanks, Ray. As the Hawks will remain undefeated. Roval Hawks, that is.
Yes.
The Hawks here will have their first loss since round 6 last year. And the Eagles will move to 2-1 as the ball goes out of play. 23 minutes gone final term. 9-8 plays 4-6. Thanks for joining us on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM, Facebook and YouTube. If you're driving home from a game and you've got some scores, send them through.
Just some more Division 3 final scores. Donvale with winning by 63 points, 17-9, 111 to Ferntree Gully, 7-6-48 and Oakley District, 14-10-94 to Coldstream, 7-3-45.
Jack Doherty's taking the intercept mark there. True centre wing just in front of us. And we just look to go backwards to Jake Bowd, who's dropped behind the footy. Looking to write the touches up as they'll go wide once more to Finn Devine. And De La Rue will bring it back out to Bowd. So just a bit of keepings off at the moment.
Boundary.
Go boundary side to Kate Green.
Muley, number 5 for Beaconsfield's off, just getting some stretch for cramping hammies.
Downfield free kick there going the way of Beaconsfield. It's in the hand of Arts. He's going to Cooper Brown now. Brown, who's been a silent contributor in this match so far for the Eagles. Just been plugging away and playing well at that as Josh Mounter's got his hands on the footy. And we'll just find Jake Bowd, who's maybe buffing up his Premier data stats a bit by dropping behind the footy, but he's taken about nearly 70 metres with the kick. And he's just sent it forward as Johnston's wrapped up in the tackle, and we'll have a ball up 30 metres out from the Beaconsfield uprights.
Just quickly, some Division 2 final scores. Templestowe 13-11-89 over Lilydale 4-3-27, and Surrey Park 14-10-94 over Mulgrave 9-8-62.
Boundary.
So we're going to boundary shot to Kate Green.
roughly 1 minute 40 of game time left.
So 100 seconds left in this encounter. Centering kick is going to fall to a teammate for Beaconsfield. It's Ethan Winterton who has the footy in his hands. The man on the mark's 55 metres out, so he's definitely out of range here, the youngster. Play on is the call, and just look to put it into the pocket and give one of his players a run at it. It's dropped out and it's snapped. It's pulled to the near side, so pushes the scoreboard out to Beaconsfield 9-9-63, Boronia 4-6-30.
It's been a brilliant performance by Beaconsfield today. They've used the ball really well. Their disposal's been top notch, and they've really just shut out Boronia here this afternoon.
Exactly right. In this game, unfortunately, as a contest was over a long time ago, but bringing it out of the middle is Cooper Duncan, centre leg to go forward through Begley. It's through the hands of Robertson and into the hands of Finn Devine, who just returns to sender right back up the corridor, and they'll look to bring it out now as it's in the hands of Johnson. Gives it back to a teammate in Devon Smith, and they'll go forward now, but only as far as a Boronia defender in Harry Burgess. The skipper hasn't had a bad game today. But it would have taken a lot more than just a not bad game to overturn this margin at this point, as Begley's got the footy. He'll wheel around onto the right, and just look, Goldwoods is out the back there. Was Edwards, who got two hands to it, couldn't quite take it as Bowd did well to provide a contest as the Eagles had numbers. And it's a mark now for Mounto. Chips one over to Brown. They've got numbers out the near side here as Delarue's got it. Gives it on to Brandon White, two of the best on. And that is all she wrote out here at Holm Park Reserve in the Eastland men's match of the round, this Division 1 encounter for the first time ever, Beaconsfield against Boronia. It is the Eagles 9-9-63, running out 33-point winners over Boronia 4-6-30, as we have goal kickers final for this game. We had multiple goal kickers for Beaconsfield. Jake Bowd with 2, Jake Arts with 2, Kay Delarue with 2, singles 2, Charlie Muley, Ethan Harris and Cooper Brown. And on the other side of things, Boronia 3 to Joshua Begley and just a single to Charlie Lavender. So for Boronia, only 2 goals after quarter time. Beaconsfield ran rampant in the end and defended home turf. Ray, Paul, tell me, how do we see that one as it's now come to an end?
Well, it was a reality shock, but welcome to the division, as you boys said, for Boronia. Look, it was the two different styles of football. You know, when Beaconsfield, they're very good when they get the ball and they run it wider, and today they had the ability to draw the Boronia backs out of that Beaconsfield forward 50, and they would slingshot over the top and run back into it. I don't know how many goals they scored like that, and it just kept Boronia out of the contest. All in all, a great win to Beaconsfield. I love the way they run their football.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said a number of times throughout the broadcast, they starved Boronia of the football. They moved the football throughout the court. They did it beautifully. It was, they were running in numbers.
Yeah.
They
And they hit their targets with
Absolutely.
the short passes. And not only that, the marks that Beaconsfield took from those short passes, running full ball at the football with the hands out in front, they didn't drop one of those.
Boundary. And just on that, as we'll go now to boundary side to media manager Ryan Long, who I believe has Tyler Stocko with him in his 100th game.
Yeah, just quickly before the presentations, Tyler, congratulations on the win, and for you, 100 games. Great feeling for the boys today.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. It was a hard-fought battle against Boronia, but the boys fought well, and happy to get the job done.
The side certainly stood up against a tough opposition. How did you see it? Obviously not playing Boronia before. It was a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, it was a learning curve. We knew they would be quick because their grounds are still the same size as ours, so we knew they'd be a quick team, and we just thought we'd run them off their legs, and happy to get the win. So yeah. And 100 games for you. What does the club mean? I think you've been playing since the under-9s here at Beaconsfield, so must be a joy to continue playing through your senior career. Yeah, it is. It's been a good run. It's been a hard run, but long battle to 100s, but I'm just happy to get there, so thanks, mate. Congratulations, mate. We'll let you get to the boys in the presentations.
As you heard there from media manager Ryan Long on the boundary, with Tyler Stocko, of course, in his 100th
Push
game.
and shove in the end, which is pretty normal, nothing in it, and it was great to play. Great spirit, thanks very much. Well fought out. I enjoyed it so much. I've enjoyed the whole day, and I've got a couple of awards to the most valuable players from each club. And from Beaconsfield, Ethan Harris. Well done, Ethan. Stay here, mate. Get a photo. And from Boronia, Josh Hannon, the ruckman, I think there. Well done, Josh. Played really well. Thanks, mate. There you go. Hang on to that. I'll just get a photo if you don't mind.
So we heard there our post-match celebrations. That was Rob Bailey from the Pat Cronin Foundation. Obviously today and tomorrow, this weekend, May 2nd to May 4th, is Pat Cronin Foundation round across the EFNL. It's raising awareness to end the coward punch and to be wise across our footy leagues here, from seniors to reserves to juniors, across the Eastern Football Netball League. Very special occasion, as it was Beaconsfield who ran out. And just on Beaconsfield, before we have our votes at the end, it was very interesting just to see a much more methodical approach to the footy game. I know a lot of the games are at a very fast pace, especially Premier Division and other divisions are very fast paced and they're looking to go quickly. But a much more methodical approach from Beaconsfield, as we can see down on the ground now. Tyler Stoko in his 100th game played terrifically. Got the win for his team as well, alongside many other key contributors. So Ray, Paul, looking at this from a Beaconsfield perspective, they now move to 2-1 on the season. Montrose at home at the Holm Park Reserve. There we are now. Well,
Boundary.
Into that game. We go boundary side very quickly to Kate Green.
I'm just going inside the rooms with the guys, so hopefully you can hear me. You still got me?
Yep, yeah, still got you, Kate.
Okay, going in.
As we'll have the song there shortly with Kate Green, who's on the boundary line today doing a terrific job. So we heard there.
I hope you heard that.
Eagle.
Some of it.
We got parts of it, Kate. Thank you very much. But yes, Ray,
Chris,
Beaconsfield back here next
right
week,
in the middle,
hosting Montrose. What can Beaconsfield take out of that game into the next one?
Well, look, I think it's back here, isn't it? So
Yep.
that's a big advantage. You know, they play some great football here, but you know, look, they're on their way. They're on the way to playing finals. I predicted this, you know, at the start of the year. I like the way they play their football, and they're gonna win the majority of their home games here, and that's going to get them into the finals because they'll pick up a few along the way.
That's exactly right. And Paul, on the other side of things, Boronia, their third loss in just 3 years. That moves them to 2-1. They've got North Ringwood at home next week. What can we expect out of them?
Oh, look, I think after today, I mean, this is probably, you know, just a wake-up call for Boronia. And I mean, these sort of games happen. And I think at home next week, it'll be a really intriguing game, that up against North Ringwood, who've been really good so far this year. But it's going to be a really intriguing contest to see how Boronia respond.
That's exactly right. And Division 1 that is shaping up really quite nicely. So you've got very tight competitions all throughout the Eastern Football Netball League in 2025 that we are privileged to have, as we were hearing scores from all around the grounds throughout our broadcast today. Boys, without giving away too much for your votes, because we're waiting for the boundary riders to get here, thoughts on where this game was won and lost today, Ray?
Well, I think it was lost there, you know, in the midfield, really. Look, early on, Mellis was very good for Mitchum, but I think he went out of the game after half-time. Not so much, he still got possessions, but he wasn't as effective as what he was in that first half. And once he went out of the game, and I just thought that as the game went on, the further it went on, the Beaconsfield rucks took control of the stoppages. You know, early on, the Boronia guys, they're big and strong, but I just think they're the two big ruckman for Boronia probably ran out of a bit of puff after half-time.
That's exactly right. And Paul, for you right next to us on special comments and more or less around the grounds. What do you think was a key factor that helped Beaconsfield run away from this one?
Yeah, no, just how they used the football. How they possessed the football. They had a lot of control of it this afternoon, and they just took their time in using it. And as eventually as the game wore on, they wore Boronia out, and they were able to take control from there onwards.
So it's quite an interesting result with that now in the books. Beaconsfield leapfrog Boronia into third. Both teams on 8 points. Obviously, Beaconsfield now with 5% better in Division 1, as we've got Ryan Long back as well and Kate Green from the boundary.
Yep.
So we'll get Ryan a working mic in a second. Here
No,
he is.
it's been one of those days. But have we done the votes? And
No.
So we've got, obviously, we do had, obviously, you would have spoken about the Pat Cronin medal and the two winners there for both sides, Harris and also Josh Hannon.
Yeah.
Our votes, we've got the Sportsco Eastland best on ground. I'm actually going to go with some different names than the two were mentioned.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first, Ray.
Okay, look, one vote I gave to Cade Delarue. I
Yep.
just thought his first half was brilliant, but he did die out a little bit in that third and towards the last quarter, so I gave him one vote. 2 votes I gave to Brandon White. Yeah, he is Mr. Reliable down there. Every time the ball come down, he got it. And when he does, he uses the ball and puts it to his team's advantage. But to me, the best player on the ground, I thought, was Jake Arts. I just thought he's, in and under, got the ball, used it well, hit the scoreboard himself. So 3 votes to Arts.
I've got the same 3, different order. I've gone De La Rue for the 3. I've gone Jake Arts at the 2, and then 1 for Brandon White. But yeah, definitely same 3. I thought they were the best 3 players on the ground, all Beaconsfield. Paul, I know you've got to run, so you're 3, 2, 1 before you go.
Yes, I've got De La Rue for 1 vote, Brandon White 2 votes, and Jake Arts for 3.
So Jake Arts for the 3. Kate Green, you're 3, 2, 1.
I've got De La Rue 3, Arts 2, and number 5, Muley, for 1 vote.
Yeah, he was very good, Kate, down forward. I'm glad you put him in there. It's worth a mention.
Well, yeah, and I thought there was probably, if you look at Beaconsfield's side, there potentially would have been 8 or 9 players that could have fit in. Harris was one of those. I thought he was fantastic in his role too. Chris, your thoughts? You're 3, 2, 1 for the Sportsco Eastland best on ground.
Yes, I went Brandon White for the 3 votes. I thought he was absolutely immense down back. I went Cade De La Rue with the 2, obviously chiming with the 2 goals and very influential off that half back in the midfield. And I went a bit on an outside chance, and I went 1 vote for Jordan Church from Boronia. I just thought every time he looked up, he was laying a tackle or influencing the game in some parts. So I think he deserved a vote today.
And that, I think, that means our winner is Jake Arts, the Sportsco Eastland best on ground voucher.
We've actually got a tie between Arts and De La Rue, but I think
they on equal votes, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
let's go to
Jake Arts played for Richmond, so give it.
No, let's go to Lee Green.
No.
Lee Green,
Lee Green, who was
the other guy, the non-Richmond.
Oh, you can't. I'm not accepting that as a response. Well, if not, then we give because I don't think there was too many Tobin Brothers Goal of the Day contenders.
No.
You give one to one of the other. Let's give both of them an award. Who's best on though? Who had more 3 votes, Chris?
Arts, I think.
You're not going to like the answer. They both had 3.
I think I even voted for De La Rue anyway.
Jake Arts had 2 times. He got 2 votes. De La Rue only got 2 votes.
I think Arts hit the scoreboard with 2 goals, and De La Rue 1.
So I think
2.
Jake Arts takes this on the fact that he got more
Ray,
of the high votes.
they both got 2 goals because De La Rue got second quarter and third.
They both get $50 vouchers, so they're both winners. All right, congratulations, Jake Arts, former Richmond man, Sportsco Eastland best on ground, and Cade De La Rue, who's taking home the Tobin Brothers Goal of the Day. Actually, he had a great goal from about 45 metres out. So that's it for us here in terms of the awards. We'll go down and give those after the game. Any other thoughts from this contest? I just was down at the Boronia rooms just before in a sombre mood down there for the Hawks and just simply outplayed by a very, very good Beaconsfield side.
A sombre mood, but it's not the end of the world for them.
No.
They realised, Matty Clark realised he'd come up a division. It's going to be a tougher gig than what it was in the lower division. And they're going to win a lot of their games, but they're going to just have to find out that when you come up a division, Where you can relax in the lower division for 10, 15 minutes of a quarter, you get away with it. But when you come up the divisions, you can't relax, you know. And particularly being the new side into the competition coming up, everyone's wary of you because you've won a premiership. And it's not the end of the world for Boronia. They'll bounce back.
It's definitely positives for them. Like there's quite a few sections throughout the game where they really shone. So they take that as positives. Look, build upon what they've learnt today and in the last couple of rounds, and it'll do them in good stead as we go further into the season.
Yeah, 100%. That's right. No, they were going to cop one of these losses eventually in this division. They weren't going to have it all their way. And for Beaconsfield, they've proven how good they've got players to come. Both sides have got players come back in, but for the Eagles, I mean, we saw what they were able to do last September, winning a couple of finals, really pushing Park Orchards. They add in someone of the class of Jake Arts. They get some, De La Rue coming back from VFL this week. I really, really, really like what we've saw from Beaconsfield today. So potential to really build off this and make their case going forward over the next month against some other tough opposition. And then also any other surprise results around the grounds. What was the biggest result, do you think? Basin losing to Upper Gully. I've pumped the Basin up for 2 weeks now, and they've let me down.
No,
I haven't heard any messages.
That could have gone either way as far as I was concerned. Probably the biggest
What was
result,
the margin of that one?
The biggest result for me as far as not so much the scoreline was Surrey Park getting over Mulgrave. That to me was the biggest one.
Yeah, true.
Same for me, Ray, because I actually picked Mulgrave just basically on their form so far. But as you said earlier, good luck trying to pick winners for Division 2.
Very difficult. And there's a Surrey Park Nuffy in the northern suburbs who's pumping his fist at the moment over that result, and
we'll hear from him soon.
I'm sure he will. He still watches all our stuff. He's still an EFNL boy at heart, I think.
I think he always will be.
Yeah, certainly right. We're going to start to wrap things up. Still got about 2 and maybe 3.5 minutes to close things up, so it's going to be a very long way to close this up.
We didn't go to an ad in between.
Oh, we can talk about the election tonight. Everyone
voted?
No. Chris, did you vote?
Yeah, I did. I was setting up a coffee cup with my dad at 6 a.m. today at one of the election booths. So it's been a long day, but I got in there, got out pretty quickly. So
yeah, no, fantastic. Are you going to watch that tonight, Chris? No, you don't strike me as an election watching guy.
No.
Okay, you'll watch the election, won't you?
No, I'm going to go and watch a murder doco.
Murder doco. Which one?
Anything other than the election.
Lee, you watch the election?
No, not a chance. I'm in the middle of binging Rookie on Netflix. Great show with Nathan Fillion.
Are you going to watch the election?
More crime.
I might. I don't particularly want to watch the Collingwood game. I don't know. Well, we'll see. But obviously,
the man owns a Corolla. You give him a break.
Soon I'll be the owner of a RAV4 because I put it.
Hang on, I don't think you can win, can you? It's an association with the EFNL. You're
I thought that would give me a better chance to win it with that connection.
No, I recommend just going out to dinner with Jess. Pamper her a bit today.
Yes, we'll see if she's watching from home. I'm sure she's not at the moment, but we'll see her tonight. Kate, fantastic job from you on the boundary this afternoon, and the women's as well. Done a massive amount of work this weekend.
Yeah.
Just happy to help out, guys, and fill in the love. I've already had tips from BWS.
That's amazing.
Well, that's good. Ray Baird, fantastic. Big weekend for you, and you can have a rest tomorrow. I'm going to let you go and have a sleep in tomorrow.
Yeah, no, well...
you don't sleep in, though, really?
I don't sleep in anyway, but no, let the other boys get on tomorrow.
And Chris has also done a fantastic work today. 2 games calling. I'm sure you're... all tired after that.
Yeah, thank you. No, it was good to be out at Boronia Reserve for the women's match of the round this morning, and warmed me up nicely for this one here today. So very good to be out here at such a fine sporting club like Beaconsfield with this infrastructure and these facilities.
You did a brilliant job this morning for Park Orchards.
And to Lee Green and Megan Green, of course, filming both senior games today, and Lee yourself working hard, and a bit of travel work from you, getting from Domini to to Holm Park too.
You know what? The distance wasn't the issue. It was just getting behind. I got every light in the red and the cars behind them.
Oh,
It was horrible.
And that's it for us here. Beaconsfield running out 33-point winners, 99-63 to Boronia 4-6-30.